3, 2, 1. Oh, that was alright. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe that's what I should do from now on.
Yes.
Yeah.
3,
Wait.
2, 1. Okay.
Wasn't as powerful as it usually is.
No, yeah, but
boomingly.
Yeah, it was just kind of like
But it was synced, so
yeah. It's like with diving, isn't it? Like Olympic diving, appropriate because the Olympics are happening at the moment.
Have they started?
Yeah, well, like a couple of days ago.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Genuinely, the only reason I knew the Olympics were happening is because obviously they're being hosted in Japan at the moment. Japan is the home of the video games.
Yeah.
And when all of the various countries were coming out, they were playing like a medley of video game music. And a piece of Sonic music was in there. So the only reason I knew is because on like the Sonic subreddit, they were have you heard they were playing blah, blah, blah?
Okay. Was it in the opening ceremony?
It was in the opening ceremony. Yeah, I think it was like when the Netherlands were coming out. They started playing like this Sonic music. Like, oh, okay, hello.
All right.
In fairness, it was like one of the more mellow tracks. It wasn't like, it wasn't any of that.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, so that's the only reason I know the Olympics are happening. Okay. But yeah, with Olympic diving, when you... the idea is that when you hit the water, you create basically no splash whatsoever.
Yes.
Even though you've dove from like up there.
Dived.
You dive.
Americans say dove.
Oh, do they?
It sounds right.
Yeah.
But we say dive.
Like hung.
They say dove. Like hung, yes. It should be hanged.
It should be hanged.
Usually. Yeah. One is hung.
Yes.
No, that still doesn't make sense. Okay, one is hanged and then one is hung.
Okay.
If one is hanged, one is then hung.
Right. But, okay. So hung can be correct.
He's hung there. We hanged him.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he was... So the place...
He was hanged.
The place in which he was hanged, he was hung from.
Yes.
Okay.
But now he is also hung. It's the state he's in.
Right,
It's the right state.
I don't know if he'll be alright after this.
I think we fucked up.
Give him a lemsip. He'll be fine.
Lemsip, yeah.
So that clap was really feeble.
It was.
But
it was in synchronization.
It was synchronized, and yes, it was a good clap.
Yes.
Because it did the job it was supposed to do.
Okay. Who's introducing?
Oh, shit. I think me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be embarrassing if it's not.
I just realised I haven't planned at all for like what...
No, yeah.
That's fine, Dory. We'll...
I haven't been in podcast mode for days.
No.
I'm just going to have to be sincere, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got no bit.
No shtick.
Yeah, no shtick, no bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to have to be...
Well, it's us now, George.
I know.
So, you know.
It's just...
If ever there were a time.
I suppose. Okay.
Now.
Well, here goes sincerity.
Do it.
Hello.
That wasn't sincere.
No, it was. Hi.
Beyond, you've never said that to me.
Well, hello.
In that tone, ever.
Hello.
It was a bit like that one.
I'm also trying to be a bit confident.
Oh, all right. That's not sincere then.
No. Is it not? Because it's not when I do it, is it?
No. Just say hello like you would any other day.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
All right.
Huh?
Yeah.
That doesn't work for a podcast, does it?
Not really.
No.
All right.
Aye? Let's not go into that.
No. Eddie's not back yet.
No.
This, of course, will mean nothing to people who don't have the history. Hello. This is the...
Hello.
Hello. This is the...
Every time you say hello, I'm just going to say it all right back. Every time.
Okay. This is the 51st episode of the Funfiltered podcast. I am Jordan, and I am joined, as always, by Sam.
Hello.
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 Oh, God. This can go forever. Okay. It's warm, innit?
It's very warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you forget.
Yeah, you do.
You do forget.
What? You said it was 31.
31 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
In my bedroom at night.
Yeah. It's very sticky.
Yeah.
I've been okay because I've basically just been sat next to the fan the entire time.
The past day or so, I haven't left the fan.
Yeah. So I'm unused to this. Because obviously we have to record with the fan off, the window is closed, the door closed.
Yes.
No air is getting in.
No.
I'm feeling sticky.
Yeah. We're only like a minute or two in.
It's going to get worse.
So we might soon be hitting panic stations.
Yeah, like humidity of the night's going to set in. Yeah. We're going to get more animated and sweaty. Pass out.
Well, you're assuming that we have things to talk about. Well, firstly, that we have things to talk about, but also that we have things to talk about worthy of being animated and sweaty over.
I'm just assuming outrage at some point.
Okay.
It tends to happen.
Is that your default now? Not just with the podcast, but just,
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning, it's like, right, I'm going to get angry.
What's going to wind me up
What's going to cause it today?
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, like, I've never consciously thought that.
Okay.
But, yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, dear.
I wonder what's going to wind me up today.
Well, shall we see if it's one of these things?
Sure.
Coming up on today's episode.
Who knows?
What do you mean, who knows?
Like, who knows at this point? I don't know what we're going to talk about. Do you?
Oh, is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if he was like who knows which one it'll be. Like, I'll definitely be angry.
Oh,
I see.
Okay, right, I see. No, I wasn't doing that.
Okay.
I was sincerely...
Like, who knows what the fuck's going to happen?
I don't know what's coming up. But we will in the future.
Yes. But you will know now. Coming up.
We talk about things that we're not going to talk about.
We talk about the 37th Emmy nominations.
A special edition of Sam's Lexicorner. It's not special, it's just long.
Sorry to disappoint. Yes. Gay conversion therapy. Its survivors. Our thoughts.
And we review the Sparks Brothers. The male brothers. The Sparks Brothers.
The Sparks Brothers film.
There you go.
Yeah.
We review that.
Let's
go! There you go. Some time travelling there.
A little jumping around.
Well, okay. Do you have anything to talk about, George?
Not really, Sam. I feel like we should take a moment to acknowledge, not really a moment of silence.
Not ideal for a purely audio.
Not ideal for an audio podcast. Just the amount of stuff between
that we are not going to talk about.
we are not going to talk about.
So much stuff.
The amount of stuff that we have seen.
Yeah.
You in particular.
Yeah.
That is just not worthy of
comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure we could rustle up some opinions, but like usually it's just like by now it's an instinct, isn't it? It's like, is there enough about this to have a decent conversation? Have you accrued that instinct yet? I feel like I kind of know like whether it's really good or really bad, or even like there's stuff worth saying about it. It tends to like cross a certain threshold. Go, yeah, okay, that's worth talking about.
A little bit. I'm still sort of in that mode where I'm trying to. It's like, right, let's find something to talk about.
Right.
But you don't want it to be too contrived. You don't want to just sort of like force yourself into having an opinion on the thing.
No.
Not only because you run the risk of just repeating what everybody else is saying, but also just kind of like, there's so little to say about this thing.
Yeah.
I'm really pushing the boundaries on it. Yeah. So like for me personally, oh god, so what are some of the things I've seen? Clarkson's Farm.
Oh, right, yeah.
I saw like the first 2 episodes of Clarkson's Farm.
What is the premise of Clarkson's Farm?
Jeremy Clarkson has bought a farm.
That's it, is it?
Yeah.
Is it a kind of wacky documentary comedy thing?
It's Top Gear.
Oh, right.
It's Top Gear, but without Richard Hammond and James May, and without the cars.
With his family?
No, because it's him and his girlfriend, who's barely in it.
Okay. I thought he was married.
Yeah, I thought so as well.
Okay.
Unless he's just being open about, like, oh, I've got a bit on the side on me farm.
Yeah.
He's bought a farm in his sort of retirement. And there's, like, a guy in there who was, like in all the promotional stuff, who I assumed was his son. But he's just a farmhand who's worked on that particular farm for quite a while.
Right. Is he the long-suffering sidekick?
He's the one who knows what he's doing, and Jeremy Clarkson doesn't.
Right.
So Jeremy Clarkson frustrates him with his lack of knowledge.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
Like the first episode, it's he goes to buy a tractor.
But what is this?
It's Jeremy Clarkson running a farm.
But like, that's it. Like, what's each episode?
You've seen an episode of Top Gear, right?
Yes.
You know that 20-minute segment where they do like a silly challenge?
Yeah.
Where they have to build an amphibious car,
right? Or
they have to race to the Middle East.
There's something about that word. That's the 3rd or 4th time I've heard that in a couple of days.
Amphibious. Car. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Not amphibious car.
No, just amphibious.
Because that would be worthy of comment.
Yeah. Well, you tend to only hear the word amphibious in relation to a car.
Or a frog.
Well, that's amphibian.
Yeah.
But the word amphibious tends to refer to vehicles, doesn't it?
I suppose.
But go on.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, that segment where they have to build a car or race to the Middle East, but like upside down or whatever the bullshit thing is. It's that, but a show.
Okay.
So yeah, Jeremy Clarkson goes to buy a tractor, and obviously all the tractors are slow. So Jeremy Clarkson's like, I looked at the tractors and I bought this, and it hard cuts to him driving this like behemoth tractor. It's so like, this is a Lamborghini tractor and it's big and fast. And that's the show.
Right, okay. Obviously, Top Gear is incredibly contrived and scripted.
Yes.
We know this, right?
Yeah.
Is this dropping the veil even more? Like, there's no possible way we can actually generate a show, an entertaining show, that's depicting his foray into agriculture. So it's like, there's now, he has to go buy, I don't know, what are they called? Combine harvester. But it's got a kooky owner who's unwilling to haggle. Like, is it all gimmicky setups like that?
Well, each episode has like a premise.
So this is it half hour or hour?
It's an hour.
An hour?
It's Amazon. It's
not
Amazon
even it's not even half hour.
No, it's an hour long.
So it's an hour. So each episode he has to do a thing that's farm related.
It kind of like orbits around a thing. So the first episode, it's about the fact that he needs to plant plants.
Yeah.
So he has to he has all of these fields. He has like 200, 500 acres of land, something ridiculous like that. And he has to till all of the land and then plant all of the seeds.
Right.
And that's the episode. He has to buy the equipment to do it and learn how to do it.
And this is entertaining.
Yes. Because it's filmed like Top Gear. So they're doing that well, you've seen a Top Gear episode.
Yeah.
And the Grand Tour by extension.
What Top Gear had going for it was the dynamism of cars.
Yes.
Usually sports cars and stuff. And exotic locations.
Yeah.
This is just him on a farm. It sounds like Hot Fuzz. It's like a parody of that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just took the Grand Tour filming crew. Like, it's exactly the same crew.
Yeah. It's probably the same production team.
Yeah, because it does. It feels exactly like it.
It's over, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. That ended, I think it was like 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And then there was this big emotional... It was actually kind of like... Because, I watched Top Gear as a kid. I loved Top Gear as a kid.
Yeah.
And it's something that I kind of came back to every now and again just to see what was happening. And then when Grand Tour happened, I kind of watched the first season just out of, support. And then, at that point, I was kind of done with it, so I drifted away.
Yeah.
But I saw that final moment where... Because I think they save it until the very end of the last episode, where Jeremy Clarkson kind of announces, we've been doing this for, 20, 30 years, however long it's been. And now is the time we feel to step away from it. Entirely, and he cries.
Right.
He proper tears up and cries, and both Richard Hammond and James Mace are kind of sitting there in respectful silence.
Right.
As the audience are sort of themselves kind of getting emotional.
Right.
And even though Top Gear is very juvenile and scripted and silly, it is kind of oh wow, yeah, this is it.
Right.
This is a moment right now.
The end of something.
Yeah, and then Clarkson Farm has happened, obviously, to fill that gap, because Jeremy Clarkson is still on contract with Amazon, and they're so what are you going to do now? And he's like, I've just bought this farm, and they're like, we'll find a way of doing it.
Has he bought a farm?
I assume so.
Or is that just the premise of the show?
I don't know.
He's bought a farm and now he has to do it up,
I think he's bought a farm.
Okay. I don't know. I'm making a TV show, but it feels a bit weird.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, that goodbye, the Grand Tour, goodbye, that's over now. They're doing, a COVID special.
Oh, one-off.
Yeah, I think they've just announced the COVID special, where...
A COVID special?
Well, they're racing cars, but it's during it's called lockdown.
Right.
But, the Scottish lockdown. Lockdown.
Right.
So I assume they're racing across Scotland. And they have to, build a bridge across a lock or something.
What's that got to do with COVID, though?
I don't know. Well, it's lockdown.
Yeah, right. I get that bit.
No, Sam. There's nothing else to it.
I'm reading too much into it, am I?
It's Top Gear. That's it.
The roads are emptier. Is that the whole...
But they shut down the roads anyway.
Yeah. So, okay, right. I see.
Yeah.
So that's coming back for a one-off.
For a one-off. And Clarkson's Farm has happened. I've only watched the first 2 episodes. Like I said, the first one is him planting stuff in a field. But there's bad weather, so they run behind schedule. And then one of the fields fails because there's a beetle that's eaten all of the stock. And Jeremy Clarkson's like, well, why can't I kill it?
Right.
And the guy who his accountant basically is like, oh, we're not allowed. It's like, but I want to kill the beetle. Look what I just did.
Right.
You telling me I can't fucking kill the beetle?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. So that's a moment.
Right.
And then the second episode, he buys some sheep.
Right.
So it's him basically raising and maintaining these sheep.
Okay. I can't see it. You know what I mean? I can visualize it, but I can't imagine how you fill an hour.
Imagine Like Jeremy Clarkson driving a tractor.
Yes.
But filmed in the style of Top Gear.
I get that bit, but it's all the bits in between. The admin. Like, how earnest is this show?
Well, the admin, it's basically people like sincerely doing admin at Jeremy Clarkson. And Jeremy Clarkson's just looking kind of clueless and like, what?
Okay, is it all scripted, basically?
Well, it feels exactly like Top Gear.
Okay.
Whether that's an admittance that it's scripted or not, I don't know.
Okay. It probably is, isn't
Probably, yeah.
Okay. I'm sure like things like inclemental weather, they incorporate into it. And I'm sure like Beatles did destroy whatever.
Yeah.
But there's no way, to make it entertaining, there's no way you can just sincerely film him trying to cultivate crops. Because it's challenging work, but it's not particularly cinematically challenging work, is it?
No, I think there's like a sequence again in the first episode where he doesn't understand. The tractor he's bought is like ridiculously large and it has the wrong attachments on the back, which makes it difficult to hook up the equipment. So he's doing a thing where like he asks his union rep to come down and tell him how to start his tractor. And she's like, right, you got to go up in the cabin. He's like, all right, I'm going to go up in the cabin. And then he does that thing and she's like, right, come back down. He's like, right, I'll come back down. And then she's like, right, you got to go back up in the cabin. He's like, oh, I'm going to go back up in the cabin. It's that. It's that kind of thing.
Tedious nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, Top Gear.
Well, is it good?
Well, no. Okay. It's Top Gear, but it's like a less...
Good.
No, I think it's sort of the same. Like,
right.
You can't do Top Gear without all three of them.
No.
I say Top Gear, Grand Tour as well. But obviously I know them as the Top Gear bunch.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work without the three of them, right? They're dynamic. Even though the show is scripted, it's their chemistry which makes it.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's only Jeremy Clarkson, it does lose something. Because they're still trying to do the thing where they've got, like, you know, everyone is like, oh, Clarkson, you blithering idiot.
Yeah.
You're a thuggish brute which doesn't understand how to do things properly.
Yeah.
It's that same thing, but it's just with different people.
Okay.
So it does kind of lose something.
Well, I used to watch Top Gear as a kid as well. You showed me some stuff last year.
Oh, yeah.
And it has aged badly for me. Like, it was like clips of just them being...
Oh, yeah, like Top Gear being offensive compilation.
Yeah. And it just didn't work anymore.
Well, I remember you saying that your problem with it was that it was kind of... it was the type of offensive humour that your granddad, who is from a different era, would go, yeah, they're kind of right.
Yeah, it's a mix of being insincere, like too overdone.
Yeah.
Like courting, obviously, I would say, from this podcast, we're not averse to courting controversy. But it's not like we do it for controversy's sake. It's not like, oh yeah, let's rile people up by saying this.
No.
We just genuinely state our opinion on things.
Yeah, if we find ourselves within the realm of controversy, it's like, well, we're here now.
Yeah, or we're having an extreme laugh. But it's not like to stoke the flames of controversy.
No.
Whereas Top Gear, it was like they were backslapping and high-fiving, going like, oh yeah, we just said something rude and offensive. And that's just juvenile. It's like, that's the kind of things you do when you're 14. That was part of it. Insincere, obviously. And yeah, well, it's just not clever humour. It's not clever, offensive humour. Yeah, so I think Stuart Lee makes this point. I think people will take it at idiots will take it at face value.
Yeah.
And just, like that kind of soft, harmless, really, xenophobia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I'm all about making jokes at the expense of the French and all that sort of thing. But, yeah, do you know what I mean? It's easy, and it's not as... Like, Brassai is controversial, but it's, like, really brilliantly satirical. Top Gear is not. Well, it's the idiot version of it.
Well, like, Top Gear offensive is Richard Hammond going... Imagine waking up and realizing you're Mexican.
Yeah, like, what's that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Whereas
nothing.
Whereas Brassai controversial is the Peter Geddon special.
Yes.
Where, what's his name? Chris Evans? Not Chris Evans. Chris Morris says, I'm keeping my children safe. And he, like, bends down and they're in a filing cabinet and he goes, good night, children. And he puts them in the filing cabinet. To keep them safe from the paedophiles. Yeah,
well, the whole like thing of that is, I think it was
police have spotted a paedophile dressed as a school.
Yes,
like it's
school.
Creative.
Yeah. Incredibly creative.
Yeah.
I think Peter Geddon, I might have said this on the podcast before, is the greatest comic artifact ever.
It's sort of it should be taught in comedy.
Classes. In terms of
just like having a premise and running with it.
A premise, style, and just sheer laugh rate. It's got to be the top for me. I don't think anything makes me laugh more than that.
Yeah, because in terms of being because it's a Crime Watch parody. That particular episode is a Crime Watch parody.
Yes,
and it's spot on.
Yes, not just the tropes of that particular genre.
No,
but I think if you just watch it now, it might look like needless controversy, but it was created in a context where there had been a massive paedophile scare in like the Red Scare, like hysteria, national hysteria over it. I think there was genuinely a guy called Peter File whose car was set on fire.
Okay,
and they say that at the very end of the episode. He says there was one Peter File whose car was like. There you go. That's like their thesis. The whole point of it is they're satirizing the overreaction. Like there's no pedophiles roaming the streets.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of that. Clever.
Yeah.
Whereas Top Gear, imagine being Mexican. What am I supposed to? What's that mean? It's nothing. It's nothing. You're just like.
I guess the punchline to that, I guess that statement in isolation, it's just the ballsiness of it. It's like imagine. No, but like I'm thinking about like if you were to be generous and be like, oh, this is why it's funny. Yeah, it's the ballsy enough to just being like, can you imagine waking up and realizing you're Mexican?
Yeah.
To which Jeremy Clarkson says, it's fine because you could just go back to sleep again.
Right.
Because that's the stereotype. But it's the obvious Mexican stereotype.
Yes.
Is they're always asleep.
Yeah.
They're just sleepy all the time.
Right.
Compared to, like I said, to...
I think the stereotype is they're sleepy.
Or that they're lazy, right?
They're lazy, yeah. They're just always like, they're always like, typical Mexican.
Maybe that's just me equating...
Trying to soften the edges.
No, just me equating being lazy and sleeping. Because that's a lazy thing. That's a lazy time for me. It's like, I'm just going to sleep now.
That is where that comes from, isn't it? Like, they go back to sleep. But that's because they're lazy, not because they're...
Right, okay.
They're always like... It's like they've always just drunk a hot chocolate,
Yeah, it's always like Sunday afternoon for them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, God, yeah.
Sunday afternoon. Yes. Point being, it aged badly, and I don't I really used to like the cross country, the races, and all that sort of stuff.
It eventually just became that, right?
Yeah.
Especially after they left, and the new guy. I don't even know who it is at the moment. So I think Matt LeBlanc's even gone.
Is it still going even? I have no idea.
I think it's still going.
Okay.
But I think the show became almost exclusively that. They still maybe did a test drive every episode and had like a guest on, but every segment was we took 2 Range Rovers and raced across the English countryside, and then we raced to the middle of America.
Well, you look back at it now, their era of Top Gear, and it's true that it wouldn't survive now. I know people say that about a lot of things, and we say that about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine it. Like with the episode where they're in the desert, and James May says something like, you look like a terrorist, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, is there any way... Because it's on BBC as well. Like, is there any way they get away with that now?
Is it the Vietnamese or the Burma special?
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a slope on that bridge.
Yeah.
And Rich Hammond's like, yes, it's definitely tilted to one side. Like,
Yeah, overdoing it.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think that's been cut out of all official...
Like later broadcasts of that episode.
Broadcasts and compilations online. You can't find it anymore on official channels.
Yeah, there's just no way that you get away with that. Like, no. 3 middle-aged men in jeans just being a bit bigoted. Like, there's no way that would be allowed on the BBC.
Like when Jeremy Clarkson's in the lorry and he's like, God, being a lorry driver is hard work. Change gear, murder a prostitute, change gear.
There's no way that coexists with I May Destroy You and stuff like no way.
No.
So I missed that, I suppose. Like, even though I didn't like it, the fact you could get away with it.
Not just get away with it, but there was a place for it. And maybe it helped that Top Gear was popular before that stuff started to seep its way into television.
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah. The thing I always go back to is Only Fools and Horses, the pilot. It's a throwaway line where Del says to Rodney, he was shacking up with some Japanese tart, and he says she was Chinese, and he goes, Chinese, Japanese is all the same to me.
Right.
Like, you get away with that now?
Yeah.
No way.
And that's the likeable...
Yeah.
Well, Del Boy's likeable, right?
Oh, yeah.
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 Like, he's a bit... I think even within the context of the time, Del Boy's a bit like, he's a bit of a character.
Yeah.
He's like... We're with Rodney. Del Boy can be a nuisance, but you're kind of with Rodney.
Yeah.
Rodney's the audience surrogate, whereas Del Boy is a character unto himself.
Yeah.
Which meant that he could be, like, not the villain of a story, but kind of like the antagonistic force sometimes.
It's a difficult one, because he is definitely the main character.
Who now?
Del.
Okay.
Yeah. You're kind of with Rodney in the sense that you feel sorry for him because he's kind of dopey. He's simultaneously like above the job he's doing and dopey.
Yeah.
And Del manipulates him a lot, exploits him. Yeah. But you always love Del because you just enjoy his antics. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a tricky one, but yeah, just things like that I don't think would be allowed anymore. Yeah, I don't know. Like Stuart Lee's thing about Top Gear, he's a great bit. But he said the reason people like Top Gear is because the power structure between Hammond, May, and Clarkson is the same as the power structure of the Three Bears.
Oh, right.
So, and that's what you really like about it, is that it's got like a family. That, like, I think he said Jeremy Clarkson is he the father, the Papa Bear? Maybe the Mother Bear. I think you'd think so. But the like punchline of that was James May is actually the true force. Like, he's like the quiet one. Like, if someone tried to attack his family, he'd swipe their face off with one swipe of his massive paw.
Right.
Yeah. Google that. YouTube that, Stuart Lee.
Okay, all right.
I don't want to steal all of the material.
No, of course not.
But, yes. So, Clarkson's Farm.
Yes.
It's basically not good.
No. It's that's
the takeaway.
It's Top Gear in a less dynamic setting without the chemistry of the core three.
Top Gear goes rural.
Yeah, kind of.
Crop Gear.
There you go.
Right.
Why didn't they call it Crop Gear?
Obviously. Crop Gear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I suppose, like, if you're jonesing for more of that type of stuff, then it might fill the gap. I think it did all right. I don't know what the reception of it was. I think people want a second season.
It probably will.
But yeah, it's like, watching it was like, I think this is designed to be instantly comfortable.
Okay.
For someone who's missing the Grand Tour and like old Top Gear.
It's an Amazon though. I hate that about this modern TV age. It's like it's not on BBC. You can't just put it on the telly. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's on Amazon. I don't like that. Do they release weekly episodes, or is it? I
think it's weekly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could we only watch 2?
A lot more are doing that now.
Yeah.
Netflix still releases in bundles. But a lot of other like Amazon, they used to release in bundles. Now they're tending to do it weekly.
Yes.
Better, much better.
Well, one of the other shows that I'm sort of in the process of watching at the moment is Monsters at Work.
All right.
On Disney Plus, which is doing the weekly release.
They've always done weekly.
Okay.
HBO Max, I think that does it weekly as well.
Okay.
I like that. I prefer that.
Yeah, well, television kind of lost something, didn't it? It lost the...
Absolutely.
That kind of water cooler factor. You had no time to talk about the show because you could just get it over with like that.
It just made it more disposable. Like, because you weren't given morsels, you were just given, here's all the cake.
Yeah.
And you just scoff it and you go, there's nothing left now. And I just got to wait for another year for the next.
And even though Stranger Things became very, very popular and everybody was talking about it. Yeah, I watched the first season of Stranger Things in one day.
Right.
So, like, I told you about it, or I said, like, I watched Stranger Things. Right. And you were like, I've watched Stranger Things. It's all right, isn't it? So, yeah. And then we talked a bit about it.
Yeah.
But then that was kind of it. Because, like, we watched Stranger Things now. I remember when we were younger, and, like, Breaking Bad was on, and the 4th season had ended, and there was that big gap between the 4th season and the 5th season, and you and I would meet up in Ponty Park at the bandstand.
Speculate.
And every week I'm like, what the fuck are they going to do next?
Yeah. Like, the shows could be over now. Yeah. Like, you could end it with the 4th season.
Yeah.
Yes, we were thinking,
all of the shit that they've got to resolve.
Yeah.
The ambiguity about where it's going to go. Like, this is exciting stuff. Let's talk about it. And that kind of discussion is lost because you can... It's like, well, the show's... It's there. It's a complete entity. So let's just talk about it as one thing.
It's also the proliferation of content. The fact that there's so much to watch. Even the things you really do like, you kind of forget about it. You go, I've got to move on to the next thing now. Move on to the next thing. I know this is like a unique problem I don't like many people have this because I try to watch everything. It really is a gargantuan task.
Yes.
And you do like, oh yeah, there's another season of that. Oh, it's been a year, is it?
Yeah.
So like in that sense, but it's like nothing. Everything's just in. Nothing's valuable. Nothing's concrete and solid.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yes. Another thing.
Yes.
that I watched.
Yes.
Was Boss Baby 2.
Right.
Were you even aware there was a Boss Baby 2?
No, I think I was aware of the TV series.
Yeah, there's a spin-off TV series, which I think they just do that now.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if DreamWorks specifically, they don't do it. They did it with How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
I think they did it with Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
They've done it with Boss Baby. But like Disney did that shit as well. Big Hero 6 and obviously Monsters at Work now and like loads of different things. But yeah, like the original Boss Baby did pretty well financially. Did all right. Critically, it wasn't great.
Middle of the road.
Yeah, it was like whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did really well financially. Oscar nominated for Best Animated Feature.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. And then the sequel came out on Peacock.
Yeah. That's happening everywhere
I'd
as well.
never heard of.
Hadn't you?
I'd never heard of Peacock.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm following because it's NBC's new
Oh, is it?
online.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Peacock, that makes sense.
Yes. There's a couple of shows that I've watched on Peacock. Can't remember what they are.
No.
But it's on like my bookmark list of things. So yeah, what's on Peacock? It's basically where they put things that would otherwise be a network show but only have 10 episodes or something.
Okay.
They throw it up on Peacock.
Right, okay.
I didn't know the film debuted on there though.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a simultaneous...
Yeah, cinema. That's the future, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cinema and
simultaneous, or maybe it was... It said like it was exclusive to Peacock for 60 days, but I didn't know if that was...
Yeah.
If that meant cinemas weren't getting it for 60 days or just any other streaming network.
No, yeah, probably it'll spread out after 60 days.
Yeah.
It's probably in theatres and on Peacock.
Yeah.
No, is it any good then?
Well, did you like the first Boss? But you didn't see the first Boss?
I haven't seen the first Boss Baby.
Right,
although I know it was your favourite film of the year, wasn't it?
No,
it was.
No. You're thinking of Storks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was up there though, wasn't it?
Which is fair enough because like Storks was my favourite film in 2016, and like I thought that they were from the same people. It's like a completely different studio.
Both are babies.
It's a completely different studio, but like the animation and the art style is almost identical. Like, there's no differentiating the two. The Baby in Storks and the Boss Baby look like
the same baby.
Yeah. They look
what was your favourite film of that year then? The Boss Baby came out.
What year was that?
Was it 2016? If Storks was your favourite of 2017, I think it must have been
2016 was Storks.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it must be 2017 then.
Oh, in that case it was Bad Genius.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Bad Genius, Lego Batman, and then I don't quite remember after that.
All right.
Yeah, it was up there, but but that's the thing.
2017 was a good year.
What else came out in 2017?
Logan came out in 2017.
Yeah, Logan was up there.
Tower came out in 20... Yeah, I've seen that.
I didn't see it in that year. I saw it after the fact.
A Ghost Story is 2017.
I haven't got around to that yet.
Call Me By Your Name.
I'm not into that sort of thing.
What's that? What are you implying?
Gay films.
Gay films?
I don't like gay films.
It's one of the better gay films.
Is there?
You don't like gay films?
No, I don't like...
dramas.
What's the term? Mumblecore?
It's not mumblecore.
Is it not mumblecore?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. It's not like a little indie, noodly, piddly-widdly...
Okay.
We're finding ourselves in Brooklyn. No, it's not that.
Oh, that's the impression I got from...
No, it's an Oscar movie. It's a, big... It's not like big budget action, but it's... It's like a beautifully filmed drama.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like a little, annoying indie.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Okay.
That is the reason I avoided it.
Oh, right. No, I do recommend, it is a really good film.
Okay.
Timothy Chalamet, really good. And Michael Stuhlbarg has one of the best monologues that I've seen in a film, I think. About love, basically.
Oh,
really,
right.
really good.
Okay.
Recommend it.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind the first Boss Baby. It's not great.
From Call Me By Your Name to Boss Baby. Yeah, go on.
No, because the quality of the animation is actually pretty good. And like the creativity in the animation. Because I think they integrate the imagination of the main character into like the visuals of the film.
Okay.
So in that sense, there's some very creative imagery that they kind of throw in there. The writing is not very good.
No.
It's so they do seem to rely on the joke of it's Alec Baldwin, but it's a baby.
That does get you far, though.
It does.
Like, personally, I know.
Yeah, it doesn't get you to the end of the film. Not least because it does that thing that a lot of like mainstream family animation does, where it's like the first half is really fun because it's embracing the premise and it's just being creative. Like it's very formulaic screenplay, and that means that when they get to the end of the second act, they have to do the thing with like the characters fall out,
right?
And they have to like, oh, sincerity is happening now, when we're gonna get back together, and then there's a big action set piece. So it's only ever really the first half of these films that are any good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
a trap of animation of the last few years, it would seem.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it's because they feel like they have to fall into that.
Yeah, they have to do the Marvel thing.
Yeah, that formula that we have to do.
Yeah,
that screenplay formula. And the sequel is pretty much the same.
Okay.
Like, it's... I don't remember if the first Boss Baby was, like, about anything. I think it was just like, oh, it's a baby, and the brother doesn't like him, and he has to learn to like the baby. Or some shit. Whereas this one, it's sort of, like... It's kind of about, like, growing up and, like, accepting responsibility.
They're still babies, though, right?
No.
They're not babies.
It's set 40 years after the first one.
Okay, does it involve babies?
Well, like, the main character, Tim, I think he's called, from the first film.
Right.
Who was the brother of the Boss Baby.
Right.
He now has his own family.
Is that Alec Baldwin?
No, Alec Baldwin is the baby.
Okay. Is he in it?
Yeah, but as a grown man.
As a grown man, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then you find out that Tim's baby is also a Boss Baby.
Right.
And she tells them, like, oh, there's this guy who, like, we're a bit suspicious of, and he runs a school, so you have to turn back into babies,
right,
to infiltrate the school to see what he's up to.
Okay.
So, like, I've seen every review I've seen is like, oh, it's this really contrived way of like getting them back into babies.
Yeah,
but it's like, it's animation. They could have just like kept them as children.
Yeah, there's no need.
Yeah,
to contrive that in the first place.
And that is like that is quite a contrivance. Like, oh, we're going to set it 40 years after the original.
Yeah.
But we're going to have, like, a special thing that turns them back into babies.
Yeah.
But I think it's supposed to tie into that theme of growing up.
Okay.
Like,
they got a certain way through the screenplay and go, oh, fuck, this. We should change it to this. Should we rewrite the first half then? Nah. Fuck it. It's 40 years and they're babies.
Yeah, whatever. It could very well be that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Tim goes to that school and he spends some time with his daughter. And he kind of learned, because she obviously doesn't talk to her father about like what's troubling her.
Sure.
So she opens that to him when he's like a child, and there's like a sequence at the end where he's turning back into an adult as they're like fighting the main villain.
Right.
And like his daughter like falls off a thing, and then he goes to grab her as a child and then catches her as an adult.
Yeah, right.
Just like, oh, they're trying to.
Yeah.
It's it's
imagery.
Yeah, it's like mainstream. This film has like 8 writers' imagery.
Yes.
But they're trying, and I don't know if that effort was there in the first Boss Baby.
Okay.
I mean, like, yeah, don't watch it.
No.
But this is the thing. This is like part of like what started this conversation. I know that we've kind of ruined that by like actually talking about some of the things.
Yes.
But like that thing about, oh, the film is kind of about growing up. That's all I have to say about the Boss Baby.
Okay.
It's that same... Yeah, I personally don't seem to hate it as much as everybody else hates Boss Baby. Because, like, I read all of the things about, like, oh, it's like, boring writing and it's, like, completely disposable animation, and I agree with all of those things. And then when the Boss Baby is there in front of me, I go, well, this isn't that bad.
You do have a bias, though, don't you?
In what way?
Animation. I'm not saying you will just accept any animation.
Yeah.
But you do like it.
I do like animation.
And so you're predisposed to kind of maybe like it a little bit more than other people.
Maybe.
Because it's silly, isn't it? You know, like the amount of things you can do in animation. Like some things are just like Pavlovian laughs.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you've made me laugh through a funny animation, you know?
Yeah.
And it is inventive. But, yeah, okay, so you like it more than the average...
It seems that way.
Yeah.
But even I would be like, yeah, there's, you know...
There's nothing to see, really.
There's a limit to the appeal of this thing.
Yeah, we've watched... I couldn't even tell you. I watched Black Widow...
Okay.
But I said to you, don't bother. There's not... Like, we could, again, contrive a conversation about it. But there's really... It's a Marvel film.
Yeah, like, from what I hear, that's what those are now.
Yeah.
They're just Marvel films.
Non-special. Nothing special anymore. They always get well-received critically. They do well financially. And they do nothing.
Right.
That's what they are now.
Yeah.
I think because obviously it's over. It ended. So now they have to work out what now. I'm sure there is a plan, given that there's 12 TV series and 50 films in Phase 4.
Yeah, well, I saw an image. I don't know how much stock to put in this image, or at least like the implication I've taken from this image. I assume it's a still from the Loki TV series, because I think the woman character who was introduced...
Yeah, like the female Loki.
The female Loki. She's doing a thing to someone. And then the next panel is like some lightning. And lightning, obviously, like it like fork lightning branches off trees, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And at the end of each tip of the fork lightning is a logo for an upcoming Marvel project.
Right.
Now, the implication there, though I've taken away from it, is that each film, though it's all part of the same continuity, each film is sort of exists in its own pocket.
Right.
Like, it's not like the first, like Phase 1 through 3, where they are kind of following... They are building up to something. Like this new continuity will be building up to something.
Yeah, not yet. I think the problem is that it's just an effusion of content. So, like, realistically, Black Panther, had it not done very well, probably wouldn't have got a sequel.
No.
But it did, so it's getting a sequel. So they have to figure it out as they're going along. From what I can tell, they're basically trying to recreate a comic book universe where it's just stuff. And this character could pop up in this character's story, and this character could, to the point where, at the moment, we're basically getting a Marvel thing every week. Because this show ends and this one starts.
Yeah, one TV show ends, a new one begins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little break now, but not for very long.
Yeah, What If is it the end of this month?
Yeah, that's next. And that's part of Phase 4. Like, that's canon, whatever that means.
Oh, okay.
But at the moment, the thing seems to be
the whole point of What If is that it was a fun, indulgent exercise.
I think it is. Yeah, like it's the height of decadence, isn't it? Like, we can do this. Look at what we can do.
What if Iron Man was saved by Killmonger and never became Iron Man?
Right. And
somehow that correlates to Captain America zombies. Like, I thought that's what the show was.
As far as I understand, that's what it is, but I was reading about it earlier, and it said it was part of Phase 4.
Okay.
Like, it's not just a separate tangential thing.
Right.
But I don't know. The thing they're going for at the minute seems to be multiple universe realities, all that. They did it in WandaVision. They did it in Loki. You've got all the, like, Doctor Strange and Ant-Man in the Quantum Mania. It's all multiple...
Yeah, like, there's a guy in the Loki show... who's a version of what the Thanos will be, like the guy who
they've introduced a new character who they said will be the next big bad of the Marvel, played by an actor called Jonathan Majors, who's probably most famous now for being in Lovecraft Country.
Okay.
He's up for an Emmy for it. He's like the lead in that.
Okay.
And I gotta say, because he pops up in the finale of Loki, terrible performance.
Oh, really?
I rarely say that, because again, when you get to a certain level of production, it's just a baseline competent. Even Tom Hiddleston, who I don't like, is perfectly fine in Loki. He's doing what he does.
Yeah.
This guy, it's like it's supposed to be a really charismatic villain, like Joker-y almost performance. Like he's very like off the wall and kind of laughs and like, oh well, let's do this now, and I'm over here, and he's sort of doing a bit of that, not as like flamboyant as that, but that's the kind of performance he's doing. And I just thought, this is bad. This is a bad performance, which is really unusual for a production of that caliber.
Yeah.
We'll see, because it's a version of that character. So we'll see.
Yeah, Sam just rolled his eyes, just so you know.
Yeah, that wasn't audible, was it?
Yeah.
So we'll see how that manifests, his performance manifests in different incarnations.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to watch, if it's well received, I'm going to watch whatever they do illegally. But it's not. So it's not like I've got any stock in the franchise. But let's hope that ends there. That particular portrayal.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Like, we're not talking about this stuff because we care.
No. You carry on. Yeah.
No, there are like strands within all of this mess that I'm kind of interested in. I'm kind of interested in where they're going with Spider-Man.
Okay, I'm not that. I have no interest in the franchise in that sense, right? If a film is good, a film is good. If they said, oh, Disney is collapsed, there will now be no more Marvel films, it would mean nothing to me.
No,
absolutely nothing.
Same with me.
Yeah.
The point that I'm making is that it's not entirely a lost cause to me.
No,
I'm kind of interested to see where they're going with Spider-Man. Yeah. And I'm kind of interested in the new Doctor Strange because they're billing that as like the Marvel Marvel's first horror film.
Yes.
And I want to see how far they're going to push it.
Yeah, and I can't even say, like, the things are bad. I'm not saying these shows and these films are bad, with some exceptions. They're all perfectly competent. They're just not doing anything that interesting.
No.
That's the... Yeah, I don't care about Marvel in that sense. Like, oh, they corrupted that character. I don't give a fuck. Whatever. I care about its place and what it's done to the industry.
Yeah.
That's where I care about, you know? That's what's worth talking about it.
Yes.
But doing, like, individual reviews, like Black Widow, it's just not worth it.
No, it's not. And, like, I don't know if this is a problem amongst other people who follow Marvel, people who like Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kind of the ambiguity as to where... I guess now that they've introduced, like, this...
I think it's called Kang. Kang the Conqueror.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
Kang the Conqueror. Now that they've introduced him... It's like, okay, I guess they're all going to fight him eventually.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, there's no real sense of what we're doing now.
It's all too diffuse, isn't it?
Yeah, like, with the original stuff, it's like, right, this is new, this is novel, this is building to something big. Oh, the big thing has happened now.
Yeah.
And now we're just kind of meandering a bit.
Well,
like, I don't need a roadmap laid out before me. It's like, I can't remember exactly... It might have been Coronation Street.
Okay.
Or EastEnders.
This would be interesting.
Well, there was like a magazine, you know, there's like TV guide magazines that you get.
Yes.
Some people get. Old people
One
get.
might guess.
Yes. I think there was an article in one of those. Oh no, there was a news story about people complaining that the TV guide didn't give away spoilers for EastEnders.
Right. They wanted it spoiled.
Yes.
Why?
Because that's what has been happening all this time. Like, the TV guide will say, like, this week on Coronation Street...
Oh, yeah, right.
Gail is going to murder a dog.
Yeah.
And then, like, she murders the dog, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, that's what was going to happen.
But they stopped doing that.
But they didn't do that one time, and people complained because they didn't do it.
Do you know what? I haven't thought about that since... Yeah, like, my memories of my childhood were, like, in shops. When you were looking, I can't remember the name of the magazine I got, but like a boys' magazine.
Yeah.
And that'd always be like Soap Digest or whatever.
Yeah, TV.
And it would always be this week, blah, blah, will die.
Yeah.
I remember thinking then, like, but you're not supposed to know the end of something.
And it was only with soaps.
Only with soaps.
Only with soaps.
Well, it's because its audience is cattle, Jord. Let's face it. Like, the audience doesn't demand much today.
Yeah.
It's basically, I'm not saying all soaps are bad, and like, sure there's that like Dot Cotton episode of Coronation Street, which is like, BAFTA nominated.
Yeah.
It's like a monologue. Fine, whatever. They've done some experimental things. But soaps basically exist, right, to cater to the gossip instinct. It's just another group of people living in Salford or London or the Yorkshire Dales that we can gossip about. That's what soaps are. It's just, it expands your street.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. So, like, yeah, the audience doesn't really demand much. Have you heard blah, blah, killed this for this week? Oh, did she? Never. You know. But yeah, so they complained that they'd stopped doing that.
They'd stopped spoiling the soaps.
Okay.
So I think they had to start spoiling it again.
Right.
Because people were like, why aren't you telling us what's going to happen before it happens?
Right. It's like a security blanket, isn't it? It's like there's a comfort in that. Like, I know exactly what's going to happen.
I think
it's like that Dark Knight thing. But I say, like, a busload of soldiers going to blow up. Nobody panics because it's all part of the plan.
All part of the plan.
As long as we can expect it, it's fine, you know?
It might be that, actually. Just like, I want...
certainty.
I'm watching this for comfort's sake.
Yeah.
So I want to know...
To challenge you.
Yeah.
That's what I said, didn't I? The woman who works for my father, I recommended Homeland to her. And she couldn't watch soaps afterwards. Yeah. So you've ruined it now. Like, I've been exposed to quality stuff, and now I can't go back.
Where exciting things could happen, and it could go in any direction.
Yeah, it can surprise you, and it's like about interesting things.
Yeah, because that's good. That kind of like surprise and just like riding that wave of quality is good. This is sort of the point I was making. I'm not one of those people who's like, you have to tell me which Marvel characters are going to defeat which villains.
Right.
Like, do you remember the first episode of the first season of Preacher?
Yes.
Just like watching that, going, where the fuck is this going?
Right.
There's like I think an episode either cold opens or cold ends with like this guy in like this room full of like dials and switches.
Yeah.
And he just walks in and he's like, oh, hey, mate, I'm going to take over this shift now. And he like just sits down and like that's the scene.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that room?
Right.
Where is that in hell? Is that like metaphoric? What the fuck? Like, it's nice to have novelty, but I don't know, these Marvel films, I don't get the sense that this is like, that there is a plan.
Well, it's because it's meat that comes in plastic packages, isn't it? It's children's food, it's soft drinks, that's what they are. You're not there to go, oh my god, my whole conception of that has just been changed.
Yeah.
You're there to go, yeah, that basically worked out the way it should have done, and I am content.
Maybe that's part of it.
It's almost like something in a dystopia that they would disseminate on a constant loop to kind of pacify the masses.
Marvel films.
Yeah, like drooling, like, it just keeps you in your place, the nice little sheep, you know? And this thing, I'm not one to like, oh, you need to go and seek out experimental Belgian art or anything like that. It's just like something that's not a formulaic certainty.
Well, like Preacher. Like, I grew to dislike Preacher because I felt like it kept making promises it couldn't keep.
Right.
Like, the first episode of each season of Preacher was always this, like, really exciting, expansive, kind of action-orientated experience.
Yeah.
Like, in the pilot, what's the name of the vampire? Cassidy.
Yeah.
He, like, decimates those people on the plane.
Yeah.
And then, like, stabs a guy and, like, drinks his blood and then jumps out of the plane.
Yeah.
Tulip.
Yep.
Like, builds a bazooka that she uses to shoot something down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, all of this, like, really cool creative stuff. And then everything after that, it's, like, premium primetime drama speed.
Yeah.
Where it's like that kind of Breaking Bad, very deliberate pacing.
Right, well, that's the good comparison, because the pilot, it's a pilot, right? That exists separately. That's got this, like, over-the-top cartoonish thing. Yeah. And then it settles into something, which a lot of pilot, like Boardwalk Empire, not as drastic, but, you know, it's Scorsese, then it's not.
Yes.
And it kind of settles into being a drama, a normal drama. And Preacher, I'm a bit more disposed to that because I'm not a big fan of the constant over the top.
No.
Like The Boys, it's okay, but I don't like that constantly. I like it when what's actually, let's strip it down a bit. What's happening? Like Preacher, that was helmed by one of the Breaking Bad writers.
Oh, right.
So the fact that it became very Breaking Bad is, you know, opposite. I liked that, I think, more than you did. My problem with Preacher is it got too dull. The first season was fine. Second season was really dull. I'll give it this, it had a good ending.
Okay.
A really memorable final shot.
Right.
Anyway, no, I take your point. That you don't want to know exactly where it's going.
But I want...
Well, a sense of where it's going.
Yeah, and I want to trust that you know where it's going.
Well, you need it for those films. Like, I was thinking, when you were saying completely unpredictable, I was thinking of The Leftovers, where...
Yeah, that too.
What anything could happen.
Yeah.
But when it does happen, it feels inevitable, which is what the best drama does, right? Whereas Marvel, for a franchise that massive, you do need a bit of a sense of where... Because, look, when Iron Man, and then at the end of it you've got, I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative, like, right, I now know what's coming. We're going to get a few individual films, and then there's going to be the Avengers.
Yeah.
And then, even when they were doing, and now we'll build up to Avengers 2, 3, that worked because it was kind of consistent. Now, because it's so successful, and you're talking like macroeconomics, like a micronation's budget, GDP, is these Marvel films.
There's no visible distinction between the TV shows and the films anymore.
No, like, it's such high production. I think Hawkeye, which is not the biggest Marvel property, $25 million an episode, I think, is the budget.
Right.
Insane.
Yeah, TV, all of a sudden... Is it Game of Thrones? Is it Game of Thrones' fault?
Partly, yeah.
Because that Lord of the Rings TV show...
Yeah.
Was it like $500 million is the budget?
It's bonkers.
Yeah.
It's because it's what everyone's watching, isn't it? Everyone's watching Netflix and Amazon. But yeah, it's just like, I have no idea. WandaVision, that ended. Falcon and Winter Soldier, that ended. Loki's now ended. That's coming back. The rest were miniseries, but that's been renewed. And it's like, I think the villain that popped up, Kang the Conqueror, he's the villain in Quantumania, the Ant-Man film.
Right.
Which is the final film in this phase.
Oh.
So I don't know when he's going to pop up in the interim.
Okay.
It's weird. It's just like, I don't care about what's going on, but it's still frustrating. It's still...
Well, that's kind of what I meant about when I saw that Lightning and all of the films were on the end of the various branches of Lightning. It's like, right, there's no... Yeah, like, there's a core in the sense that there is a main villain they're all eventually going to have to fight, but there's no core anymore.
Yeah.
Iron Man was the core. Captain America was the core. Thor was the core.
Well...
Who's the core now?
Who's the core?
What's the core?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I mean when I say that I think they're trying to replicate the comic book multiverse experience, which is there's no like that's the current Marvel story is that that doesn't exist. It's just a bunch of disconnected, but still technically in the same universe stuff.
Like my understanding is at the end of Black Widow, spoilers.
Yeah.
The like the other Black Widow, the
sister,
the Florence Pugh Black Widow is now Black Widow,
basically,
and Veep comes along and she's like, "Do you want to meet the person?
Do you want to kill Hawkeye?
Do you want to kill Hawkeye?" It's like, right. So is Florence Pugh the core?
Oh no, there really is no core at the moment.
Yeah, is WandaVision the core?
WandaVision felt really tertiary. Like that was its own story unfolding. I don't mind that so much, but it was her and this witch character.
Yeah,
it trapped in this bubble, literally, and then she escapes it. That's that story. You don't have to do anything with that now. Though I imagine Agatha's going to come back.
Well, okay, we'll get to all that. I was going to say, she was nominated for something.
Yeah. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was just like an action movie, basically, that's over, like done. There really is. I'm struggling to think of what is the central... After Iron Man being gone, and the whole Avengers thing being gone, what is the next... Because you've got the Eternals coming up, the Chloe Zhao film.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like a team of superheroes. In Thor, you've got the Guardians are there.
Yeah.
Which was fine, like I'm up for that. But what's that all building to?
Yeah.
What's the next Avengers?
Like
basically?
Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man Far From Home. It felt like one of the intentions of that film was to make Peter Parker the new Iron Man, quote unquote.
Well, yeah, but
like,
I think
he inherits all of his tech, and he's like, because Spider-Man is a well-known superhero in his own right. It's like, well, he's symbolically inhabiting the role that Iron Man filled.
Yeah, well, financially and commercially, certainly.
That as well.
I think I don't know, but I would imagine now going forward, Spider-Man is the most lucrative Marvel property.
Well, with
or Black Panther,
with Chadwick Boseman gone.
Yes, yeah.
Then I would say it's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
so it's like Wakanda Forever might do well, but it's not a Black Panther property anymore.
Well, it's still called Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's, I would say, now probably the most dominant force in the franchise. So if there is a main character, it's him. But I think in the new film, Doctor Strange is in it, and the description that's been given is he's filling the role of mentor that Tony Stark did for Peter Parker.
Okay.
He's become his mentor now.
Okay.
Like, how long does he need a mentor? I know he's still a kid, which adds to the idea that he's going to be around for a while and the dominant 20, 30 years they've got him for.
Yes.
But yeah, like how long? It's been 3 films, or will be 3 films. Does he need a mentor now, really?
No, he's doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like Iron Man trusted him enough to give him his entire arsenal.
Yeah. Because the problem is,
right.
I don't think Tom Holland will ever... He's quite a short guy. He's not going to get any taller.
No, like Tom Holland will look like this for the next 40 years.
Which is a problem.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he can then become one day like Captain America. He's not going to get ripped and tall and he is what he is.
He'll grow a beard and that's how they'll get away with it.
But even then he'll look like a prepubescent.
Yeah.
Well, not prepubescent, but like, someone in adolescence who's trying to buy beer.
Yes.
Let's put on a fake beard or something.
He will.
Yeah.
But that's...
Hello, my name is... I'm John Adult.
I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I am a man.
So, So Black Widow.
Black Widow.
I watched a film called Deerskin.
What's that?
You saw Rubber, right?
Yeah.
About the tyre.
Yeah.
It's the director of that, Quentin Dupieux.
Oh, right, okay.
Basically about a dude, played by Jean Dujardin, who buys a deerskin jacket and loves it and gets involved with a woman, and he's got people after him, but there's not really in it. And then he gets killed at the end, spoiler, and she takes the jacket, and that's the film.
Right.
There is about, I would say, 20 minutes of the film is him looking in mirrors, admiring himself in the jacket. It's dull as fuck.
He's got a style, that Quentin.
Oh, yeah.
Dupieux.
A weird little concept, and I'll make a film out of it.
Yeah.
It didn't work this time. I saw a film called Riders of Justice, which is a Scandi comedy. It's not very funny.
Oh no.
It's not at all. It's not a comedy. It's not it's an action movie, an action drama with comic bits.
Right.
But they've described it as a comedy. So
Okay.
it's like Scandi drama, so bleak. But if there's any humour in it, it has to be called a comedy. Yeah, like it's about this guy whose wife gets killed in a train explosion. Right. And
hilarity ensues.
Yeah, and this guy's on who, like, he thinks he can work out how everything's connected and thinks that it wasn't an accident and there was like a terrorist thing, and they join up to find out who did it. It's not a comedy. Or is that not a comedy?
Is that just a stinging indictment of the state of comedy that is considered comedy now?
Maybe.
Like The Martian being nominated for Best Comedy was probably a sign that we were on the downward slopes, right?
I think that's just a sign that they thought they would win if they submitted it in that category, you know?
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of humour in it. Like, it's a funny film. It's not a comedy.
No.
But it's not a million miles away from one either, is the thing. Do you know what I mean? So I think, if we put it in that category, it'll win. I think it did. Or Matt Damon won anyway.
Right.
Yeah, we watched a lot, and really none of it worth talking about. With one exception that we'll get to later. Should we talk about the first thing we actually planned to talk about?
What's that?
The Emmys.
Well, Matt Damon nominated.
There you go, awards. It's a
segue.
Yes, exactly. The Emmys are just over.
No, they're the good. They're the ones that are allowed to stay, right?
Are they?
Well, the Golden Globes are the ones that we've gone. Nope.
Oh yeah,
you don't exist anymore, Golden Globes. Come back when you're more black.
Yes.
But the Emmys are like, oh no, you're okay, Emmys.
Well, because the Emmys are doing that, is the thing.
Okay.
I don't know about the voters, but the awards-wise, very black.
Right.
Very, very black.
Okay.
A weird thing has happened in the last 4 or 5 years, which is like category monopoly. It used to be the case that even, I think in 2001 or 2, The West Wing, at the height of its popularity, racked up 4 Best Supporting Actor nominations. Right? Now, all good performances, but a fluke. That just doesn't happen, right? You don't get to own a category like that.
Well, The West Wing, was it the biggest thing on TV at the time?
It was certainly one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not like it was bad, deserving and everything, but odd. The general rule has been, you get one from a show. So Aaron Paul, and then when Giancarlo Esposito was undeniable, we'll nominate him as well. Okay, now Breaking Bad has 2. So the thinking was Jonathan Banks, which then happened, and then Dean Norris, which didn't. But that was the kind of the thinking. And I think that's like, at the same time, if the 5 best supporting actor performances of the year are in the same show, then just nominate that show. On the one hand, on the other, bit of variety. And in the last 4 or 5 years, they pick like 10 shows, and they just fill up every category.
Yeah.
2 or 3 leads, 4 supporting nominations. It's just lazy. It's like Ted Lasso, which I think might win for some reason.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's an Apple show
starring
Jason Sudeikis as an American football coach that's hired to coach an English soccer team.
Right.
And it's set here, and it's all English actors with the exception of him. And it's completely middle of the road, inoffensive crap.
Okay.
It's just, pappy, But it's like got a vaguely positive vibe. You know, people love Parks and Rec partly because of that. Deserving, worthy. This has a bit of that.
I was going to say, Parks and Rec was also good, though.
You know, also very, very good and funny.
Yeah.
But this has that kind of, he's sort of nice, and the show's kind of nice.
Okay.
So we like it. But it's rubbish, right?
Okay.
It's just disposable rubbish. But that's got 4 supporting actor comedy nominations.
Okay.
And I hadn't heard of 2 of them.
Right.
They're just guys in the show. Like, I knew Nick Mohammed, because he's done some other shows in the UK. And I knew Brett Goldstein, because he's done quite a few shows, and he's branching into America now. Other 2 guys, never heard of them. And I'm not saying that in and of itself is an issue, but I tend to have heard of the people who've been nominated.
Well, I suppose the question that I have for you is, what do you think's going on? Is it we are trying to assemble a diverse portfolio of nominees? And not diverse in terms of the shows, diverse in terms of the people within those shows.
Yeah.
Is it laziness? Is it just, there's so much goddamn fucking television at the moment.
Yeah.
We're just going to find like 5 shows that we like. 5 shows that people generally think is, like, everyone's kind of watching, and everyone kind of thinks like, yeah, that's the best thing.
Yeah.
And we'll just nominate those.
Yeah.
Or is it just the television is just so bad?
I think it's a mixture of all of the above.
Okay.
So
bad in the sense that, like, that because there's so much of it, there's a lot more mediocrity.
Yeah.
And I think you've said multiple times to me as well that, like, Well, yeah, like this has been proven to you recently.
Yeah.
Maybe in part because of the Emmy nominations.
Yeah.
The golden age of television is over. Yeah. There is no great show currently airing on television.
No.
Whether that season is currently playing or whether we're between seasons, there's no great show anymore.
No, there's no capital G great show. There's the best shows at the moment, I would say, are Better Call Saul, Succession, maybe Atlanta, few others that are really good, but nothing that will stand up to The Sopranos and to Breaking Bad. Yeah, I was thinking, like, in 2004, all at the same time, you had Lost, Deadwood, The Shield, The Sopranos, 6 Feet Under, The West Wing, maybe even Buffy, or maybe it just ended. Like, that is the golden age of television. All those shows.
Always on, like, must-watch television, top 50 television shows.
Greatest shows of all time.
Yeah.
You know, nothing like that now.
No.
Nothing that comes close. I think it's partly the nominations are down to, there's so much fucking TV. Let's pick a good one and just not, like, bombard it with nominations.
Yeah.
I think there must have been a change to the way that the voting is done.
Okay.
At some point to allow this to happen. And yes, TV is so generally mediocre. That's just a general problem. They look at the awards and they go, really? This is where we're at?
Yeah, because was it WandaVision?
Yeah.
Sort of mentioned that Catherine Han.
Yeah.
I was going to say O'Hannigan. Is there a Catherine O'Hannigan?
Don't think so.
Okay. Catherine Han.
Han, yeah.
She got a nod at the Emmys. And
Elizabeth Olsen did.
Elizabeth Olsen
Paul Bettany did.
Paul Bettany did. The show did. The show has 23 Emmy nominations.
Yeah.
And I think, like, Mandalorian has 26 or 24.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't even know you could.
Well,
I didn't think there were enough Emmys.
It's because they've got the Creative Arts Emmys as well, which is lighting and makeup and all the, like, the tiny, say the tiny things. Yeah, shout out to all the little people, but you know what we're saying. Guest acting is lumped into that. That's weird, isn't it?
What now?
So there's two ceremonies. There's the Primetime Emmy Awards, then there's the Primetime Creative Arts Emmy Awards.
Okay.
So in the main one, you've got, acting, shows, directing, and then in the creative arts ones, you've got, like, writing for non-fiction special and writing for a stand-up special.
Right.
And lighting and cinematography and all these things. And guest acting is in there. They award that in the same ceremony.
Oh, not in the main one?
Not in the main one.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, guest acting is a satellite thing that's in the Creative Arts Emmys.
Okay.
So that's how it racks up so many nominations. But that seems to be one of the big takeaways from this year's nominations, which is comic book properties and geeky things are now getting recognised. And isn't that a good thing?
Oh, is it?
So WandaVision, The Boys got a lot of nominations.
Yeah.
And Mandalorian got a lot of nominations.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of people like Damon Lindelof saying, when I was a kid, it was not cool to read comic books, and now we're in the golden age. Fuck off. Fuck off. No. So that's one of the big things. Another one is, I think, Lovecraft Country. The headline was, it's the most nominations for actors of colour in one show in 1 year, or something like that.
Okay.
Because it's all black characters,
and
like 4 have been nominated in the various categories. Then there's a show called Pose, which is about trans people in New York in the 80s, about AIDS and all that.
Right.
And the lead actress, whatever, in that, MJ Rodriguez, is up for a lead actress Emmy. And the headline was, first trans woman to be up for major acting Emmy.
Right.
Emphasis on the major.
Yeah.
Trans actors have been up for Emmys. Like Laverne Cox was up for Orange is the New Black and everything.
Yeah.
But... yeah, it was the first major.
Okay.
Which I just think...
no. This one counts, though.
Yeah, not only reaching for a headline and, like, yay, progress, but also, like, a bit of a punch in the face of God. Because I remember that being the big headline. First trans actor ever nominated.
An actual trailblazer.
Yeah. And now it's
not you, though.
Yeah, now it's lead. Yeah. Ridiculous. We've said before, and we don't have a problem with observing these things, but it should be on a website if you're really into, like, insider baseball Emmy stats.
One of the go-to examples for me is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Right.
Miles Morales is the first biracial superhero.
Yeah.
The film doesn't deal with that at all.
At all, yeah.
Not only that, but, like, the mother is barely a character.
Yeah.
She's maybe in, like, 3 scenes, and she has no real bearing on the plot.
No, none, yeah.
No. The major relationship is with his father and his uncle, both of which are black.
Yeah.
So you just think of Miles Morales as a black superhero.
Yeah.
Like, even if you bring race into it, it's just like, oh yeah, it's like the biraciality has nothing to do with
Well, it's
anything.
incidental, which is, of course, how it should be, right?
Yes.
Then it's not a headline.
Yeah, why would you want to celebrate incidentality?
Sure. Yeah, like on IMDb, when the nominations came out, so you have like the 5 top stories, and they were all along those lines. First trans woman to be up for Emmy, major Emmy, most nominations for black characters. It's like, this is not headline news. The news should be Emmy nominees announced. Read full list here.
The news should be Emmys are dead.
Emmys are dead, yeah. And then the rest should be just carrying on with the normal movie news, you know? So yeah, like for me now, it is over.
Okay.
Like seeing Ted Lasso and The Handmaid's Tale get nominated for like 3 or 4 supporting actress Emmys. You just think, for a season that's universally regarded as the worst, and it's probably the most nominated, you just go, right, it really is just like, fuck it, stick to the same ones, you know? I will admit, there's not been a lot of great television in the past year, but better than has been recognised.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my Emmy rant.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I've been completely out of the loop with the Emmys.
Yeah, so you don't need to get into it.
I'm just going to trust your assessment.
I remember when it meant something to me, the Emmys. Yeah. Like, it mattered. Like, you rooted for people to win. Remember, we would meet up and predict who would be nominated?
Yeah.
And we'd have a good sense of who would be nominated?
Yeah.
Because there wasn't 200,000 shows.
No. Yeah, exactly.
And there was a chance that,
like these are the popular shows, and these are the critically acclaimed shows. So let's pool those together.
What's that? My favourite show this year so far, right, is something called Search Party.
Right.
It's not a masterpiece. It's in its 4th season, and I really liked its 4th season. There was a time when that could break through into the Emmys, like with 1 or 2 nominations. That won't happen anymore because of this blitzkrieg of monopolies, you know? We're just going to pick Ted Lasso, Handmaid's Tale, Mandalorian, Ozark, The Crown. Yeah, they get all the nominations. That's not going to happen anymore. So if the awards have any point, which is to promote unseen... content, it's not even doing that.
Is that part of it as well? Are they leaning more into the, like, we know people are actually watching these things, so they'll tune in to watch the awards because everyone's watching The Mandalorian, everyone's watching Ozark.
That's definitely part of it.
Yeah,
that's definitely part of it. But it's that Stephen Fry thing, isn't it? What are you for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, nominate the best stuff.
Yeah.
Or, shine a light on some of the more obscure stuff that maybe deserves...
Yeah, look, it's all down to taste. This isn't just me moaning that the shows I like didn't get nominated. It's don't carpet bomb every category.
Yeah.
Leave some room for, an underdog or someone to slide in. I'm just lamenting when Michaela Cole wins something for I May Destroy You. Or what that speech is going to be. She'll win something.
Yeah.
If not actress, she'll win writing or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm shivering, and it's boiling hot.
Yeah, I'm grateful and everything, but this award doesn't reflect my complexion.
Exactly, it's golden.
It's golden.
Yeah.
And you're not golden, are you?
No. Should we move on?
Okay, what are we moving on to?
Sam's Lexicorner.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, some brightness, not bright at all.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
Here's Sam's Lexicorner.
Samuel. Words. Phrases. Sam's Lexicorner.
I've improved upon something.
Okay.
I'm sure you're familiar with the LGBTQ plus IAQ 2 squared omega symbol fish Z acronym, right?
Uh-oh.
I've improved upon it. See, my problem...
Uh-oh.
There's nothing offensive here. Yet.
Okay.
My problem with it is that... Well, I'll ask you, what is the purpose of that acronym? Well, I think it's an initialism, isn't it? But go on.
Yes, because it's not a word.
It's not a word.
Yeah, the initials don't make a word. To catalogue the minorities.
Sexual minorities.
Sexual minorities.
Okay, so one sexuality.
Not exclusively, right?
So what else should be included in that?
Well, like sex and gender, right? That's the field it's kind of operating in.
So gender too.
Yes.
But, okay, presumably not purely minorities, because then men would be in there. More women than men.
Well, like, minority in the sense that it's, like, the nuclear norm, the nuclear biological norm.
Right.
I.e. men and women.
Yeah.
Straight men and women, basically.
Anything outside of that.
Anything outside of that.
Right. Okay.
That's what it's for, right? To sort of, like... It's like Roy G. Biv. It's sort of like... It's like a mnemonic...
Right.
device for you to kind of like...
Yeah, but
I know there's lesbian, gay, bisexual, because it's LGB, you know. I guess it's like, it's the sort of like, oh, here's all of the other stuff in a handy, compact place.
But, okay. Yes, that's what it's meant to be. Roy G. Biv, though, has a consistent theme, being that they are all actually colours of the rainbow.
Okay.
And it makes sense.
Okay.
And it's a thing. My problem with it has always been, it's just incorporated a bunch of other stuff. Like, I don't know what this means anymore. So L, lesbian.
Yeah.
G, gay. Well, they're the same thing. Like, different genders, but they're both homosexual.
No, isn't gay lesbian as well, right? Gay's both of them.
Now it is, yeah. But, like, traditionally, gay meant man on man, lesbian, woman on woman.
Right, okay.
Yeah, gay is now, multi... Not even unisex, multi-sex. Yes, so those two, fine. You could categorize them as one, but fine. Bisexual, down with that. That's fine. Transgender. We start going off the beaten track a bit here.
Okay.
Because what does that say at all about your sexuality?
What, is it saying that you are a transgender, or you are attracted to transgenders?
Well,
like, that's your sexual orientation?
No, I think it's saying that you are transgender.
Right, okay. Yeah, that has no... Yeah, well, if you're working on the assumption, as I think you are, that this is the sexual orientation list, then yes, we're deviating from that.
We're deviating. Even if you were attracted to transgender people, because there are people who like trans people as, like, not as a kink, there is that as well, though, but they're into that. That would still place them either straight or gay, generally speaking.
Is that even how it works anymore?
No, but you know what I mean. Like, if the whole idea is I'm a man now, but I'm really a woman, and now I'm presenting as a woman.
Okay.
Then if you find me attractive, you're straight. There's nothing deviant about that. It's you're just straight.
Right.
Because I'm a woman. So,
okay.
You know what I mean? Anyway, let's not get into that.
I'm like trusting you so far. I'm going to agree with you.
No. Just to say that I don't. Transgender is not a sexuality, is it? It's a state of gender.
Okay.
But there's more than that now, isn't there?
Yes.
So I think we should maybe go through the other letters before I reveal my Lexicorner.
Okay, all right.
It'll be the longest Sam's Lexicorner ever.
Yeah.
Because, I want to condense it to 5 simple letters.
Okay.
So, can you Google?
Oh, right. Okay, I'm Googling. I'm Googling something.
Yeah, I need to know what all the other letters
maybe
are.
Warning. No, for me.
For you, okay.
That I had to Google. And also that I have to be party to God knows what hellfire you're going to bring upon us.
All right.
Oh no, Google heard all of that.
Did it?
Yeah, because I said that and I looked down and it said God knows what hellfire in the search engine. So what am I looking up?
I guess the most comprehensive extended list.
Okay. Right, well, already, I'm not sure.
Are they contradictory?
Well, there's like, I've just typed in LGBTQ full acronym.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of different versions.
Right. Go with the longest.
Okay. LGBTQ. I'll trim this down. Full form. This is my final form. Who's likely to... CNN, BBC,
BuzzFeed, Vox,
Independent. Who's likely to be the most?
Oh, those.
Yeah.
CNN, maybe.
What are all the letters in LGBTQ?
Yeah.
Quora.com. Oh, that doesn't help me. It's like genitals. It's like, that has nothing to do with it.
I don't know why it's so hard to find.
Yeah, it shouldn't be this hard to find an acronym that society is so
accepted, basically.
Yeah. I like to think that this is not me going all boomer, because I just typed in like LGBTQ full acronym,
Yeah.
and I'm having to correlate dates to make sure that I'm like picking the right one.
Right.
And like I'm having to consider like, right, who's more leftist, like the BBC or the Guardian?
Yeah. I mean, any will do it. It's just to make the example, isn't it?
Yeah. Bloomington Pride?
Well, yeah, okay. That sounds like they would know.
Yeah, glossary of terms. Oh, it's alphabetical. I don't want it to be alphabetical.
What, in alphabetical order?
Yeah.
I don't get that. How's that work?
Hang on. This is completely wrong, because it's like ageism and androgynous.
Oh, it's just a glossary.
Ableism, yeah.
A drossary.
Fuck, this is... Yeah, there you go. Drossary. LGBTQ plus full acronym 2021.
There you go. Let's try that.
No, I don't want to hear about the LGBTQ Film Festival. Jesus Christ. This is not a bit.
He won't be there.
This is not a... No, he won't be there. Yeah, genuinely, this is not a bit.
No.
We're not doing this to be reductive. We're not doing this to be like...
I imagine as well, this in the edit, you've probably condensed like 5 to 10 minutes of looking.
Yeah, I'll trim some of this down.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But this is just... we've been looking for a while.
Oh my god.
Shall I look at it on you?
No, hang on.
No. Right, we found one.
We found one. I don't know if it's the one.
Listen, there is no central agreed upon...
Right, the thing that I'm on, the title is The Ultimate LGBT Inclusion and Q&A Guide.
They'll do. A Q&A to the letters. They are, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they are in there. Yeah, I don't know when this was published. Yeah. This might be outdated or something.
There's no uniform definitive list, but this is a generally good representation.
This is what we're going to use.
This is what we're going to use. And I imagine this forthcoming analysis will be both our own opinions and, well, just to see what happens.
Yeah, I don't like this.
No,
you're making me uneasy, Sam.
I want to talk about their placement in the list and their existence in general.
Okay. Right, so what do you want?
Well, right, we know L is lesbian, G is gay, B is bisexual, T is transgender. What's next?
Q.
Which is?
Queer.
What does that mean?
It's an umbrella term used to cover the entire / the broad range of the LGBTQ2 plus community.
So it's like putting in Roy G. Biv, it's like putting rainbow into that.
Yeah, that might be a decent way of putting it, actually. Because that was
rainbow, red, you know.
Because my understanding was that queer used to be... There never was an LGBTQ. There was just queer.
Right.
Queer is all the other stuff.
Yes. Everything that's not straight.
Yes. Then lesbianism and gayism and bisexualityism.
Yeah.
Bisexuality...
Yeah, that's it.
No, I'm trying to think of like if there's a better... Bisexualities.
Right.
Ignore that.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a fun, like...
What?
I don't know. This is going to be one of those episodes where it's like, yeah, we say a couple of decent things, but it's a dry listen.
Yeah.
So like LGBTQ replaced queer, but then queer was put into LGBTQ, again with a similar purpose.
Did it used to be queer? Because...
This is my understanding of it.
Okay.
I'm not saying this is it. This is just what I understood it to be.
LGBT was always what I knew. Just LGBT. Then there was a Q.
I always knew LGBT, but I think I was told by someone from a previous generation that it used to be queer.
Okay.
And then the lesbians and the gays and the bisexuals became so mainstream that they deserved their own recognition.
That sounds right. I feel like queer magazines used to be a thing. Yeah. Yeah, okay, all right.
And then queer existed within that to serve a similar function. It's like, right, you've got normal as in like straight. You know, like the thing people typically
normal is the correct word for it.
Yeah, the thing people typically are.
There's not a moral judgment in there. It's like statistically.
Yes.
Normal, yeah.
But yeah, you've got you've got gay, you got bisexual, you got lesbian, and then you got queer. So it's all of the other stuff. If there is indeed anything left.
Okay.
Queer is like...
It covers it all.
Yes.
Right.
But now the acronym, with each passing day, it seems, it's just acquiring more letters. So I don't know what the queer is supposed to represent anymore.
Well, no, like, if anything, it would be, this is the queer acronym. The quackronym.
The quackronym,
There's a subsidiary Sam's Lexicorner.
Yeah, a little to keep you going until we actually get to the main one.
Like this is the queer acronym, and then you break it down.
Yeah, because if I'm right, and queer is supposed to represent, queer
everything.
is the and everything else, we've taken to just saying what the everything else is.
Yeah, like don't...
So what's queer for?
Well, this reminds me of our Scott Cawthon discussion.
Okay.
Where we were talking about how the games had this kind of mystery to them, and you piece together information from the in-world stuff. And then people were like, what does that mean? And he gave an inch of context, which opened up a whole new bunch of questions.
Okay.
And then that never ends. And I feel like either just queer, or you have to list everything. And they've gone for the latter. Which, do you know what I mean? Like,
they've kept queer, as you say.
I know, they've kept queer in
They've put rainbow
into the Roy G. Biv.
Yeah.
So it's Roy G. Biv now. Roy G. Biv? Get over here, Roy G. Biv.
All right, love.
All right.
That's Roy G. Biv, eyes.
That's right. Roy G. Biv does sound like an alcoholic in a local pub.
He does, doesn't he?
He's Roy G. Biv, he is. Off his face.
Same again, Roy? Ah, yes, love.
He's of the Biv clan.
Fucking terrorised these valleys for years.
What does G stand for, do you think?
Roy G. Biv.
Yeah, what does the G stand for?
Roy
Gethin.
Gethin Biv.
Yeah. Anyway. They put...
I like that he's part of this crime syndicate that's terrorised the valley for years.
Yeah.
But they still treat him really, they're really affable towards him.
Well, so we are in the valleys. I was Roy, man, he's killed a couple of blokes, and he's a good laugher. I sounded really like my uncle when I said that then.
Not
the subject matter.
No. I was just going to say, from what I know of your uncle, if there was a Roy G. Biv, he'd be friends with him.
Yeah, probably.
Because he knows everyone. He's one of those guys.
Yeah, my family are like that, unfortunately. They know a lot of people. Yes, so Q has gone in there. But it's like, because they've started like really breaking it down. Someone's going to go, I'm not in that list. Add a T. Add a U.
Oh, there you go. What's the I May Destroy You woman?
Michaela Cole.
It's that again, isn't it? That one thing I know from the show that you told me. It's like, oh, but I'm actually, forgive me if I get it wrong, but it's like, I'm actually like Colombian black, but that's not in this list.
Yeah, I'm actually 15% poor. I think it's not exactly, it's not these ethnicities, but it's the fact that like it doesn't represent the exact. It's like, I'm 15% Puerto Rican and 15%, Kenyan, and that's what it's doing. It's God, can we just put like white and other? It's just too, because it's...
Well, no, you can give them like black and Asian as
okay,
well,
fine, but we were talking about this before,
Middle East,
other things
like
you
want to put in.
You break it down infinitely into the whole oppression Olympics, the hierarchy of I'm oppressed, then you can only end up with the individual, which is what they don't realise civilization already did.
Yeah.
With the Enlightenment, you can only... But if, for the sake of fucking rounding up, on a form, there's going to be white, black, Asian, other. All right? Deal with it. We're not going to put a special thing for Inuits in there. It's not going to happen. All right?
Because it does reach a point where it becomes so inconvenient.
It's so... But that's the thing.
So, like,
even reducing it to LGBTQ+, someone's going to come along and go, oh, you're reducing me to a plus. I'm miscellaneous, am I?
Yeah, there's that element to it as well. But just like if you belong in that group...
Yeah.
Or if you're an ally to that group, like you agree with, like, oh yeah, I don't belong there, but I'm
down with it.
I'm down with it.
Yeah.
Like I'm in the club without being allowed in the club, sort of thing. You're going to take the time to like, oh, this is the proper acronym, so I'm going to say it in full, as a sign of respect.
Yeah.
People who don't...
Half an hour later, you might get to have a conversation.
Exactly, yeah. People who don't respect it, or people who are clueless to it, or basically the other side of that.
Yes.
You're making it inconvenient for them. So the people who hate it are going to be like, oh, look at this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
The people who don't know any better are going to be like, oh, it's a bit much.
I think...
You're kind of intimidating me out of it now.
I think it's fair to say that a large part of what fuels this, I think, is that it is inconvenient for people that aren't down with it. That it does irritate people, like, oh, what now?
And not people who are opposed to it.
Well, partly that.
Partly that, they're in there.
It's
but
like,
just like the middle ground as well.
Yeah, John Q. Public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are just like, oh yeah, I'll hear you out about this thing.
Yeah, I'm fine with it, but like, must I say all the
Yeah,
letters?
you're still okay. You're still telling me the acronym.
Yeah.
Okay, should I just get a coffee?
Yeah, exactly.
You done yet? No. Okay, I'll be back.
Right. It's like all usual caveats. There needs to be a quick queer would do. You know what I mean? I'm queer. Oh, what? What are you?
Well,
I'm bisexual. Got it.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a solution.
Well, let's carry on going.
Yes.
So we've got
queer with transgender. You don't agree with?
I don't agree with because it says nothing about your sexuality.
Okay, so it's deviating from the topic of the list
into sex itself.
Itself. Queer is sort of redundant.
Yeah, it is the acronym.
Yeah, it's queer or it's queer or it's everything else.
Yes.
Okay. There's another Q in here.
Yeah.
Questioning.
Right. That's a state of mind.
Okay.
That's including a state of mind. It might as well put ambivalent in there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like certain. C for certain.
Yeah.
Like that's just you don't know what you are yet. You don't know where you are in that list. That's not on the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I might be in this list.
It's like people who are irreligious. It's like, well, I'm an atheist. Yeah, okay, we'll put an A in. No, I'm not in your list. That's the whole point.
Is it like, are there different stages as well? Like Q is questioning, and then P for pending.
P for pending.
It's like, I've decided if I'm in the list or not, but this is the period of time between me deciding and me declaring.
Yeah, as soon as they suck a dick, C for confirmed.
Exactly. It's like the provisional license.
Yes, right.
It's like
provisional gay.
Yeah, provisional gay. Yeah, it's like I've passed, but like give me a year before I can do it properly. You know?
Yeah. I need to learn how to drive properly.
Yeah. So the questioning is on there.
Yeah, well, that's a statement. That's got nothing to do with anything. So it pertains to the subject, but not in any way that it should be represented on the list.
No. Okay. Intersex.
That's sex, biological sex. That has nothing to do with your sexuality.
Yes. Intersex is not, it's in the acronym, but it hasn't given me a definition in this article.
Well, intersex is you're basically born with genitalia or characteristics of both genders.
Oh, right. So, what's the old word? The one that I know it by.
Transsexual?
No, it's
no, that's what transgender used to be.
Yeah, it's
hermaphrodite.
Yeah. That's how I knew it as.
That's what it is.
Which I'm assuming is not okay anymore.
I assume it's gone the way of Siamese twins.
Okay.
Which is, we can't say that anymore.
Okay,
it's conjoined twins.
Right, okay.
Because Siamese is because the first famous conjoined twins were from Siam, Thailand.
Oh, right, okay.
So I imagine it's gone
that gives it historical context.
I know. Well, to be fair, it would be not personally, but well, we're not Siamese, we're not Thais. It doesn't pertain.
Are we not allowed to call them Siamese cats anymore?
Well, I'm not sure. No, because they all do come from Siam, I would have thought, right? Or at least originally. Originally. Like Siamese twins, it's not like they birthed all future conjoined twins. They were just the first popular ones. They weren't even the first, you know.
Okay.
The hermaphrodite, I don't really know, Aphrodite presumably, and Hermes. There's a male-female thing going on there, but...
Oh, I have no idea.
Like androfem. There's something like that, you know what I mean? Where it's man-woman.
You are just throwing words at me right now.
Okay. No, I made that one up. But
okay.
It would be the equivalent
I didn't even know!
It's all made up, innit?
And this is where they start getting angry.
Intersex. Okay, yeah. So that's got nothing to do with your sexuality either.
No. Okay. Pansexual.
Don't know what that is.
That is... Right, we've had an argument about this before.
We have.
I think somebody that we know who has identified as pansexual.
I know a few people, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think she was taking us through it before.
Right.
And because to the untrained ear, to the untrained mind,
yes,
bisexual and pansexual, it's tautology, right?
Yeah.
But I think the distinction is that bisexual is... on a flesh level.
Well, that's the thing. I don't even think that. I think there's currently an internal civil war debate happening in the quackronym community.
Right.
In the quack community. Oh, they are quacks from now on, as far as I'm concerned.
You're not even going to use your Sam's Lexicorner that we will eventually reveal?
Yeah, there you go. There's that as well. The quack civil war is this whole idea of disappearing people. So at the moment it's pansexuals are disappearing bisexuals. That's the kind of internal debate.
So all bisexuals are basically I guess I was pansexual the whole time.
Yeah, or you don't need this pansexual thing. Like, it was covered. We did it already.
Right,
bisexual.
okay.
Yeah, pansexual, I always understood it to be, it's a non-shallow bisexual. It's a bisexual with depth.
Yeah, pansexual, you are attracted to somebody's personality regardless of their gender identity.
Right.
Whereas bisexual, initially, it was you're gay and you're straight.
Well, you're attracted to both men and women.
You're attracted to both men and women, but then men and women cease to exist.
Well, I think that's mainly the thing now.
So bisexual ended up like, right, okay, so it's not just men and women anymore, it's men, women, and all the other ones. Yeah,
I think partly to pat themselves on the back, there's this whole, oh no, it's the personality. But also, when you get past that, it's like the abortion thing. It's when they say, oh, but what do you feel about women who are raped? Do you still, are you still pro-life? You know, are you still... And then, as Ben Shapiro always does, says, right, if I agree with you that women who are raped and women who will die, it's okay for them to get abortions, are we then agreed that all the others are not okay? And they'll go, no. He said, right, well, don't give me that.
Yeah.
If you do, so that's just a nonsense thing that you don't believe in. I think pansexual, when you argue it long enough, they will get to the point where they say, oh no, it's because there's more than 2 genders.
Right. Okay.
It covers all the other ones as well. It could be anything.
But bisexual does as well.
No, because there are more than 2 genders.
No, but this is my point.
Yeah.
Bisexual used to mean straight and gay, men and women.
Yes.
But because there's more than men and women now,
right,
it includes everyone.
Yes. Well,
that's what
pansexual is.
No, that's bisexual.
No, that can't be bisexual. No,
because that would make bisexual... That would make it something to fight against.
Well, yeah, but...
Because bisexual admits that there are only 2 genders. For it to continue existing in this list of acceptance... It has to concede that there are more than 2 genders. So even though we haven't changed the name bisexual, its meaning has expanded.
Well, it's one of the billion contradictions of this whole movement, isn't it?
Well,
that. No, it is. You can't have both. Because bisexual...
No, there isn't both.
Etymologically, 2. So
yes,
that's
the etymology isn't wrong because the etymology is archaic.
Yeah.
But that's because the definition has been updated. So bisexual no longer means 2. That's been overwritten.
Has it?
Yeah.
On what authority are you saying this?
The pansexual friend. Our mutual pansexual friend.
Oh, really?
Friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what they said?
Yeah. The bisexual used to mean 2, and then, obviously, more than 2 genders.
So it doesn't make sense on a language level anymore?
No.
But, so what is pansexual then?
It's emotional. You're attracted to, like, the personality of someone.
The spirit of the person.
Yes. Okay. Whereas bisexuality, you can be attracted to anyone of any gender.
Yeah.
But it's... Again, like your definition is like pansexual is the less shallow bisexual.
Okay, it doesn't exist.
Okay,
there's bisexual that are fuckboys and sluts that will just if they like the look of you, they'll fuck you, and then there are bisexuals that really care about personality. Like, do we make that distinction between? I was gonna name the person then.
Right.
Between people that we know that just will fuck anything that moves, but are straight, and then people like us that will tell ourselves this, that we care about personality, and that's why we don't get it. No, you know what I mean though, like the difference between a shallow and a deeper straight person. We don't make that distinction.
No, I like the idea of like, oh, we focus on the personality of someone.
Yeah, that's fine. But so do we. But that doesn't distinguish us from...
its very existence within the list implies that all of the other options don't.
Yeah. So
especially bisexuals. Like, oh yeah, but we're bisexuals, but we actually care about you.
Yes, so
it's kind of shitting on bisexuals.
Yeah, insofar as it pertains to being attracted to someone for their personality, that has nothing to do with your sexuality, really. And as it pertains to it, because there are multiple genders, that is not a thing anyway. So it has no place on the list.
Okay.
Doesn't exist. Carry on.
Right, okay. So most of these don't exist according to you?
No, well, they don't, do they?
Okay. Does Two Spirits exist?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know what it is, but it doesn't exist.
Two Spirits. Oh yeah, this one's really specific. This is, like, I think it's mainly Native American. Yeah. The idea is that you can... regardless of your biological sex, which doesn't exist, right? Does biological sex not exist?
I think that there's debate about that as well. Okay. Like there are half that say It does, but it doesn't like mean that much. Like, you can be born a biological male or female, but, like, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't say anything about your gender. And then there are half that say it literally doesn't exist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, two-spirit is you have the spirit of both men and women within you.
See, this
so you
is
have a male spirit and a female spirit within you.
See, this is where, I mean, we've already skirted around it, and it's kind of endemic throughout the movement, but this is where it starts to get into, like, religious, supernatural hogwash. Like, they believe... they believe in spirits now. Like, they wouldn't believe in Jesus or God or the Holy Spirit or anything like that.
This is exclusively within the Native American community.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm assuming that an Asian man could not identify as two-spirited.
So you have to be Native American to...
I'm assuming so. There's nothing within that definition that suggests that it's a broad identifying
but
factor.
in terms of the people that would spout this list and would believe in the existence of such things, like, that's a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
This is religious thinking now. Because it's all religious thinking, but it's supernatural thinking.
I was going to say, does it fall into the category of religion, like that sort of Native American?
No. I'm just talking about kind of, right? It's not organized religion in the same way.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's religious in the sense that it's spiritual.
Yes,
but I don't think people would immediately put it in the category of religion. It doesn't feel like a religion.
No, it doesn't feel like one. No, that's true. Yeah, because it's.
Is there even a god?
Oh, you're talking about, like...
Or is it just, like, there are spirits?
There's not even, like, Native American is divided into, like, hundreds of tribes, and there's not even one, I really am not educated about all that.
No.
But yeah, it doesn't feel like a religion because they don't have churches. It's not organized in that way.
Yeah.
It's tribal, isn't it? But what I mean about supernatural thinking is this idea of spirits. They're, like, entitled to believe all that stuff, and, I don't have any problem with that kind of religious thing.
No.
I'm just talking about the kind of atheistic... nihilistic, empty douchebags in the West that would, spout this list off.
Yeah.
That would believe in such a thing. Right? What are you? This is nonsensical now, because you're actually talking about something non-physical.
Yes.
Yeah, and non-psychological even. Like there are two spirits within you, and it's weird. I do have a double standard. For the Native American tradition, if they believe that, I'm fine with that. But as it pertains to gender on this list, it's like, no. Because you would throw away anything vaguely Christian or vaguely Jewish.
Oh, yeah.
But you're down with the two-spirit thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You can fuck off. So, no, not, not a thing.
It's probably that as well, right? It's there as a sort of acknowledgement to the... Like,
it's the going on a gap year.
I mean, it's definitely that, but, like, I wonder if this was a precursor to, because now we have it's not in this specific acronym, but we've got, like, the race is starting to make its way to the LGBTQ bracket, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's on the flag.
Yes.
So I wonder if this is kind of a precursor to that, where it's sort of like, you, as Native Americans, you are also a rather oppressed group.
Right.
By the evil white man.
Jews
so
on them,
even though you're, well, yeah, I know it's fine.
They're white now, aren't they?
Yeah, it's fine. We did the Jews are, yeah, they're white. They have all the money, and they're killing the Palestinians. Sure. So they're basically evil white men.
No, the true answer is they're successful. That's what it is.
Yeah,
they weren't successful.
Well, isn't Asian kind of going in that direction as well?
Asians becoming white. I reckon within 5 years, Asian will be white, basically.
Like Asian privilege is becoming more quote unquote recognized.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if it is a precursor, because, like, even though it's nothing to do with your, like, gender identity or your sexuality, because you are oppressed by evil white men,
yes,
you belong on this list with us.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's trying to hoover up as many different minorities as it can. But I'm pretty sure in the end result will be there's more of them than there are of us. I remember, like, in school, like, we were with the quote-unquote outcast group that identified as, like, we're, like, the marginalised.
Yeah.
We're the freaks and the geeks and the nerds and the goths and the emos.
Yeah.
And we were by far the largest group. There was, like, 40 of us.
Because we were including the goths and the emos and the punk rockers and all of those ones as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, by that point, you're just outnumbering the normal people. I think we're near the end of this acronym.
Okay.
So, two-spirit,
Not a thing.
Does exist, but it doesn't belong in this realm.
Well, no, it doesn't actually. If you're asking me whether it actually exists at all, then no, obviously not.
Right.
But Native Americans are entitled to their beliefs.
Okay.
These people are just hypocrites, is what it is.
Okay.
That's what I don't like about it.
Right. So we got 2 A's.
Yeah.
That's what's left in this acronym.
Okay.
The first one is androgynous.
That's how you look.
Yeah, that's
just appearance.
Yeah, that's not an identity,
no.
right? That's just, that's a style.
It's Tilda Swinton.
Fashion style.
Yeah. It's LaRue and Tilda Swinton and David Bowie. And it's just how you look. You look a bit like you have features of both. It's got nothing to do with your sexuality. Next.
Well, being androgynous, I assume, is an extension of a different identity, right?
What do you mean?
Well, you've got people who...
Well, some people can't help being androgynous.
No, some people can't help it, but they might try and, I'll put on makeup to look more feminine, or I'll dress more...
Well, okay,
this way to look more masculine.
Tilda Swinton is androgynous, but she wouldn't have to do much to be androgynous. Like, she just looks... She's statuesque, isn't she?
Yeah, like she's played... Obviously, she biologically female, so she plays a lot of female characters, but then... What's the film? The remake of the old horror film?
Suspiria.
Yes, where she played a man.
Is she a man in that?
She's a man in that.
Well, she plays David Bowie in a music video.
Oh, yeah. Which, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, that's just how you look.
Yeah. But yeah, like, if, I'm a man, but I dress up as a woman. What Eddie is that?
Transvestite, that is.
Is that what Eddie is?
He used to be. I think he's recently said he now identifies as being a woman.
Okay. Well, you have to now, don't you?
Yeah, they've all gone under the rug, the transvestite, and I'm nostalgic for that.
Transvestite?
Yeah, I genuinely am. In the same way I'm nostalgic for the word sexist.
Right.
Because that's been replaced by misogynist. I know they're slightly different, like sexist can apply to any, but just no one says that anymore. Oh, you sexist pig. It's all even misogynist. It's just uglier.
It's such an ugly word.
It is, yeah.
Misogynist.
It's like
misogyne.
Yeah. Like, sexist was the 80s and 90s, and when people used it, like, they probably got a point. It reminds me of that, again, the golden age of TV, and just, like, when feminism and race relations were, like, just at a decent zenith. Like, we'd done it, basically. And transvestite, like, a bloke that likes dressing up as a woman, doesn't think he's a woman, has a cock, wants a cock, but likes dressing up in a dress and doing drag acts on stage. That's over. That's gone,
What's the recent one? There's so many.
Yeah.
Was it Demi Lovato? Can't say that anymore. They came out
as non-binary?
Yes.
Right.
And then I think I saw like an article where it's like Demi Lovato says it's okay if you mispronoun her.
Right.
Oh, they. Demi Lovato says it's okay if you
pronoun them.
You mispronoun them. And like all of the comments were like, oh, thank God. One of my,
I could sleep easy.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like, okay, I hadn't heard of Demi Lovato in a while, and now
I honestly don't know who she is. I don't know what she looks like. I don't know who she is. I think it's fascinating, the disjunct between the message and the people who hear it. Whenever the Guardian tweets anything, all the comments are, oh, fuck off. And like, the people who follow Guardian, people like me who just don't like anything they do and want to see how bad things have got.
Yeah.
But like, there's not one positive comment. It's just everything they tweet. Like, oh, the history, literally, I think one of the headlines was the racist history of hairstyles or something like that.
Right.
And like, all the comments were, seriously? We're doing this now, like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And they just are not getting the message.
No.
They really think, oh, but we're above it, and we know what the right thing is, and they will come around.
Yeah.
We just have to keep messaging.
We're educating the public.
Right, yeah. They don't, anyway. So she's not, they are non-binary.
They are non-binary, but it's okay if you misgender them, or mispronoun them.
Oh, God. Yeah. It got a bit less hot in here.
Which, right. I guess, in fairness, like...
Well, if you're going to do that bullshit, then okay.
Yeah.
But I kind of prefer if you insist upon it. Because it's all stupid anyway. But if you're going to be a zealot, have some zeal. Do you know what I mean?
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, anyway. I guess that it's nice that they're affording people that wiggle room. Because it kind of like acknowledges that people aren't going to get it right first time.
It's not intuitive.
Yeah, because the whole point is that we're educating people, so it's unfair to assume that they're going to get it the first time around.
Yeah.
So I like that, but just that it's like it's
making some accommodations.
Yeah, it seems to be the first high profile. I don't even know if it is high profile because I don't know. You didn't know Demi Lovato was.
I know the name. Literally.
Yeah, I don't know who Demi Lovato is, but it's the first high profile one that seems to be making that concession for people.
Okay.
But yeah, also it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So androgynous, is that an extension of your identity? So say, for example, you identify as non-binary. One would presumably style themselves to look neither masculine nor feminine.
That's implying there's a shred of logic. Because the whole thing, you can be the most beautiful woman in the world, totally feminine, and say that you're a man and have to do nothing to like change. Like, oh yeah, she's a man. She doesn't have to like get her tits removed or like it's fine. She says she's a man, so now she's a man. So I don't think you'd have to do anything if you were non-binary. You could be like the most masculine butch bloke. Yeah. Or you could be Margot Robbie, it doesn't matter.
The point being that androgynous, I don't feel like androgynous is a thing unto itself.
No, it's either how you naturally look, you look a bit both ways, or you play into it with how you dress and stuff like that. In which case, it's either your appearance or your fashion sense.
Yes.
Neither of which are asexuality. They might express it, but they're not it.
No. Okay. And the final one in this particular acronym.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there are definitely ones we haven't mentioned.
Oh, yeah, loads.
The main big one is the one that I'm about to mention now, and that's asexual.
Yeah, that's genuine.
Yes.
That's a thing.
Yeah. Rare,
incredibly rare, but it exists.
Yes.
Yeah. So
would you want to be asexual?
Well, here's the interesting thing about that. You go, oh no, because then I wouldn't be, but you wouldn't feel the pain of not wanting to be.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, someone who's asexual,
it's fearing being dead. It's the same thing. It's like, why would you fear being dead? You're fearing literally nothing.
Well, here's the thing. Like, it's somebody who is asexual.
By the way, just public service announcement. That was not meant to imply that being asexual is the same thing as being dead.
No. I was hoping that my statement would clear it up a little bit. Yeah. But like being asexual, you would either be the least productive individual on the planet, or the most productive individual on the planet.
I think most. Because even though, the biological drive is the thing compelling all of us.
Yeah.
Like, really, like, I want to be a writer. Why? Well, I want to get my message out there. Why? So people will like my message. Why? So I can get laid. Okay. Yeah. Like, it ultimately, basically, all comes back to that.
Yeah. Like, having biological urges is so distracting.
Yeah.
Like, it gets in the way of everything. But it also drives everything.
Yeah. I don't know. You would only do things for their own sake. Like, you'd just be the most pure person in the world.
That's the thing. Like, you wouldn't have to, like, right, I'm going to have to, like, set aside a couple of hours to, like, jerk off.
Yeah.
Or, like, go...
A couple of hours.
Well, all right. I was overcompensating, all right? Or, like, I got to take the evening off because I got to go pull.
Right.
It's like, no, I'm just going to sit here and continue inventing the cure to cancer.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get cancer.
Right.
But, I don't... It's not like I want to get laid or anything. I have the time.
Yeah.
And also the motivation. So I'm just going to keep doing the thing. Or, because that kind of, like, propagate the species, like, have children and all that stuff. Yeah. Because that's so at the core of our being. Not just us specifically, just humanity.
Yeah.
That's so at the core of everything that we do. Mm-hmm. How could anything else drive you? You know?
I know.
And we say that as people who, like, feel like we've discovered our calling. Like, as a writer and an editor, respectively, we're like, that's the thing. That's our drive. But even we have to admit that underneath that...
Well, it doesn't end there, that's the thing. It doesn't end there. You want to be really good at what you do. For its own sake, but also, there is that other dimension to it.
What the hell drives
Here's the thing.
you?
When I was a kid... I think being a writer, for me personally, and I think a lot of writers have this, it's listen to me, please. That's where it comes from. Like the idea that people weren't doing that when you were younger. It all kind of germinates from there. And the end result of that is you get laid and have kids.
People,
like that is the end result of
women start listening to you and going, oh, do you know what?
You've actually got things worth saying.
Yeah.
Maybe, that translates to like his penis will be enjoyable. So,
it doesn't, but he still has interesting things to say.
Exactly, so I'll stick around for like half an hour. That's my experience. Yes, but yeah, the point being that asexual is a genuine phenomenon. So all that said,
okay,
time for the actual Lexicorner.
Okay,
let's noodle over to the corner.
Do we just replay the music just to remind people?
I like the idea. This is the longest ever Sam's Lexicorner. It's like an hour-long Lexicorner.
Yeah.
Fab. P-H-A-B-H. It ends in a silent H.
Okay.
And
that's not awkward.
Well, no, it's the most efficient way of doing it, right?
Fabba.
But you can get rid of the H. P-H-A-B-H covers everything.
Right.
But if you want to differentiate straight people, then just get rid of the second H, the final H.
Okay.
So the final H is heterosexual.
Okay.
Right? So if you want to encompass all sexuality, that's that. But then we'll remove that. So it's P-H-A-B, fab. The B is bisexual.
Okay.
The A is asexual. The A is homosexual. There's no need to split into lesbian, gay. And the P is parasexual.
Okay.
Now, parasexual would pertain to anybody that wants to fuck anything else. So it's not a person of the same gender, not a person of the opposite gender, not either, and not nothing. Okay. So that covers everything from feet to cars to children's toys, anything. Like people that have a sexual attraction. Have you seen that program where people want to fuck cars?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Parasexuality is anything that's like anything else that's not a human being, basically.
And that would, if we are making a genuine case for it to replace the current acronym, that would include gender identity. People with like non-conventional gender identities.
No. Well, what are you? Okay. I mean, I don't think this is a genuine candidate to replace it because it doesn't.
Well, then what was the fucking point of all this then?
For us, so it actually it does genuinely encompass everything.
Okay.
If the LGBT crowd want to say that parasexual also encompasses non-binary and all that, fine, they can do that.
Yeah, that was my question.
Oh yeah, fine, okay. In my definition, though, those things don't exist.
Right.
So no, parasexual basically means people who want to fuck fire engines or I don't know, bells. Or grapes, whatever. It covers everything.
Okay.
That's not a human being.
Why parasexual? Why para?
Because you got like parallel. Basically, it's alongside all the other sexualities.
Right.
It's parallel to them.
Okay. All right. I thought it was like parasol.
Parasol. Like that too.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's an umbrella term, Sam.
Exactly, but also para means like outside of. It can mean outside of.
Okay. So outside of homosexual, bisexual, asexual, heterosexual. Okay.
So fab.
So that's it?
That's it. It was all for that.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah. That was Sam's Lexicorner.
That was.
Samuel. Words. Phrases. Sam's Lexicorner.
Has it played yet?
At some point it played. I don't know.
Okay. So there's a documentary coming out on Netflix called Pray Away, and it's about conversion therapy.
Okay.
You know what that is, right?
Yes. That's where you conversion therapy.
It's trying to turn someone who's gay into someone who's not gay. It's
mainly like religious.
Mainly religious, yes.
That insist on this therapy, right?
Yeah. And there's a documentary coming up about it on Netflix, and I read the premise, and it kept repeating the phrase, it follows survivors of conversion therapy.
Okay.
I am so sick of that being used.
Survivor.
Rape survivor, conversion therapy survivor. Everything's a something survivor now.
I mean, like...
Abuse survivor, I'll take. Domestic
because
abuse survivor
can be deadly.
Right, yeah. Or like, you made your way through it. Rape survivor... You're pushing it. Frankly, for me, you're pushing it a bit.
That's the thing. Like, I think it was the last episode where we kind of said we need a new word because, like, rape victim.
Yeah,
it's almost like oppressive. It's sort of like it's like you're reminding the person this terrible thing has happened to you.
I know, but
survivor does feel like an overcompensation.
Yes,
again, rape can be deadly under certain circumstances.
Sure, yeah, and in that sense, yes,
yeah.
But rape victim, okay, yeah, it's a horrible thing to be, obviously, and it's a horrible term. But I just kind of think that is what it is, though. If a rape happens to you, you are the victim of a rape. You are a rape victim. That's not to victimize you and turn you into this little creature that can't stand up for it.
Yeah.
No, but that is what it is. A murder victim. A rape victim.
Yeah.
You are a victim of it. That is what happened.
I was gonna be a thing that's like, yeah, because you wouldn't have murder survivors. But no, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a murder survivor.
But like assault survivor or like, arson, there are things where it's legitimate to put after it. But I just think this is going to sound terrible. If you've been raped, I think what you're known as is probably the least of your worries.
Okay.
Or at least it should be the least of your worries. If you've been raped, do you really care if you're known as a rape victim or a rape survivor? Certainly not right after the fact. Maybe down the road. But I don't know. I just think survivor is such an abused word.
Yeah, no,
it's like genius.
I know the overall point that you're making.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of like rape victim, yeah, like I can see that acting as a trigger for someone.
What does that mean?
Just like, oh god, yeah, I'm just being reminded of this thing that happened to me.
But doesn't the word rape do that?
Yeah, it probably.
So what does victim matter then?
No, I'm extending a bit of charity there.
Yeah.
Because the thing that I'm leading up to is your point about conversion therapy survivors.
Yes.
Yeah, all that means is the conversion therapy didn't work.
Well, it means I think when they say survivors, the argument,
conversion therapy is not it doesn't kill you.
No, but the argument is for this stuff is that a lot of people who go through it commit suicide.
Oh, I see.
And if you haven't committed suicide, you're therefore a survivor of it. I don't know. I'm wary about it because this isn't like me being 100% full-throated. I don't agree with the BLM movement. It's not as like certain as that. Okay. Because I'm willing to concede that there may be like some wiggle room here. But I just think even rape survivor, I'm taking the closest to being acceptable that I can. Okay. Which like if I'm going to give it to anyone, it's going to be a rape survivor. Yeah. But I just think why? Because people who are raped commit suicide, it doesn't mean that you're a survivor because you didn't. It just does. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Okay. Because it's not a necessary extension of being raped, is that you commit suicide. Even if there's a high morbidity rate. Even then, I don't know. Okay, this is my concession. If you've been raped and you've pulled you've got your life back together, you're a survivor. As a human being, you're someone I would call a survivor.
You came out of the other side of that.
Yeah, you're a survivor as a human being. But rape survivor, that thing, there's just something about it that's wrong to me. Okay. And the same as, that's what it is. It's just the prefix. If you want to say, oh, he went through conversion therapy, it was traumatic, it was terrible, that kid's a survivor. But we're expected now to be, oh, she's a rape survivor, he's a conversion therapy. That's what I don't like. Okay. But generally saying that someone is a survivor, fine, I'm down with that. That's cool. But do you know what I mean?
Well, I just got the Beyonce song stuck in my head.
I'm a survivor. Yeah. Is that Beyonce?
I think it's Beyonce,
okay. Yeah, I had to, That and Gloria Gaynor.
Survivor, keep on surviving.
First I was afraid, I was petrified.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's the other one. And Eye of the Tiger, obviously.
Why Eye of the Tiger?
Because it's by Survivor.
Oh, right, it's okay.
In the burning heart. I was listening to that earlier. It all ties up.
Staying alive. Staying alive.
We're just going off.
Yeah. Singing songs.
Okay, well that was that point.
Okay, yeah, right, okay. Yes?
I admit it's a tricky one. But yeah, it's just like it's
again, again, it sort of feels like an overcorrection.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I see what you're doing. Like you're drawing a correlation between people who go through conversion therapy and like there's a large quantity of them, I assume it's a large quantity, end up committing suicide.
Well, yeah. So or enough.
Because of that correlation, you're saying the word survivor is appropriate.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but the act itself, but then again, I suppose you could use the same argument with rape. It's like the act of rape itself doesn't really end in death. So the fact that...
yes. Okay.
Yeah, like sometimes you have to also obviously murder them.
Yeah.
You can't just like do the raping and like, oh, they're dead now.
Yeah, like, rape alone does not kill a person. Yeah. Unless, well, let's not get into that.
No.
Because it can get horrible.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Obviously, if you're of a certain age, etc., I'm sure it can.
Yeah, there are factors.
The act itself
there are factors that can play into it, but rape is more dangerous, like physically dangerous, more perilous than conversion therapy.
Yeah, there's nothing physically dangerous about conversion therapy. It's what it does to your psychology.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think they might, in like these incredibly extreme camps where they do this stuff, there might be like some physical abuse that goes on to like whack the
Oh,
gay
yeah,
out of
yeah.
you,
Probably
basically.
like you have to like associate your natural biological urges with pain.
With pain, like American Horror Story.
Yeah, so
although
yeah,
I'm not sure how common that is now. Like, I'm not down at all with conversion therapy, but I'm trying to extend some charity to them.
No, I imagine like conversion therapy in the modern day. Maybe this will be covered by a documentary, but I'm assuming modern conversion therapy is almost purely psychological.
Yeah, and I got to be honest that this is going to be really controversial.
Okay,
I read Douglas Murray's book, The Madness of Crowds, and he went to the premiere of a documentary that was about conversion therapy.
Different documentary.
What now? Yeah, different documentary. A film like a few years ago.
Okay.
And it was the premiere, and basically he was writing about it because they'd been forced to relocate several times because theatres refused to show it and all that. And it was about voluntary conversion therapy.
Okay.
Right? And he said, like, they have every right to show a documentary about voluntary conversion therapy if they want it, and the places should allow it, basically.
Okay.
I'm okay, in a sense, with voluntary conversion therapy. I don't think it's...
Well, the fact that it's voluntary helps, right?
Entirely.
Yeah.
I don't think it's correct. I don't think it should be necessary. But if you're gay and you don't like it, and you voluntarily want to not be gay, look, we don't think that's possible, really, right? But if you want to do it, it's your life. It's the same as the trans thing. If I'm going to be okay with someone cutting up their body parts because they think there's something else, then I have to be okay with this as well, frankly.
Okay. I'm wondering if it's got more of a kinship with the... Again, I don't know how this is going to come off. More of a kinship with the euthanasia argument.
In what sense?
In the sense that it's like that's a decision you're making yourself. Like, other people have to be complicit in it. You can't convert... You can't do conversion therapy on yourself.
Yes.
But yeah, like there being euthanasia centres for people who have made that decision to end their life.
Yeah.
It's not something that most people would agree with. Like, because you always have to go like, oh, can you imagine yourself in that position? But just like as a broad point, it's like, I don't think, like, in terms of like, you know, I feel like most people would not agree with somebody wanting to take their own life.
It's the level of tiptoeing. Go on. Both of us.
Yeah.
Go on,
But yeah, like, oh, I want to take my own life.
Yeah.
I feel like most people would go, well, don't, please.
Well, it depends, doesn't it?
Yeah. I guess if you don't like the person, you might be more inclined to say, go on.
I mean, most people who go to euthanasia clinics tend to be people who are chronically ill or something. It's very rarely just like someone who's suicidal. I'm like,
they're like, they would know the difference. But
I think they did that in Netherlands or Belgium. I think the Netherlands. Someone said they were trans, went through all the hormone therapy and everything, changed their mind, couldn't go back, then was suicidal, wanted to be euthanized, and they did it. So the state changed the gender of somebody and then murdered them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's like one of the big things that's not talked about, but Douglas Murray talks about in the book.
Yeah.
But like, this is where we're at, and we need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, carry on.
But yeah, no, that's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm making it.
Okay.
But the point I would like to make is, presumably modern conversion therapy clinics that like partake in voluntary conversion therapy, they are like, right, this is legitimate, right? This is a decision that you've come to yourself. You believe this is the only course of action.
Yeah.
Same with euthanasia. It's like, well, we're not just going to kill you. We have to make sure that this is like genuinely the best decision for you.
Right.
Yeah, so anyway, to wrap it all up, if you choose to go through conversion therapy, good on you.
No. This wasn't me promoting my approval of conversion therapy per se.
Okay.
It's just that voluntary conversion therapy should be a choice.
Okay. Not one you agree with.
Not one I personally agree with.
Okay. But if it is a choice, then why not?
No? I'm not endorsing conversion therapy in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
I'm just saying that if people want to do that, there's a whole bunch of things that people want to do that I don't support politically or personally.
Right.
So while I support their right politically to do it, I don't support it personally.
Okay.
I think I said earlier, like the thing with transgender surgery. If it was as a culture, we're okay with that, then we have to be okay with conversion therapy.
Right.
Significantly less drastic.
Well, yeah, you're changing your sexuality. Like your sexual orientation rather than your entire
if it
biology.
Works, you're changing your sexuality rather than, potentially risking a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we are neutral, or you are neutral on the idea of... No, you're against conversion therapy, even if it's voluntary.
I don't think it works.
You don't think it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it works. If it did work, let's operate on that hypothetical.
Okay.
What if it worked? What if you could change your sexuality?
Okay.
I suppose there's nothing I can really say against it.
Okay.
I can't defend it really either, because sexuality to me is irrelevant. It does not matter at all.
Yeah. Well, it sort of like lives and dies on the whether you subscribe to the idea. I don't know if like generally like we've arrived on a conclusion to this, but whether being gay is a choice or whether being gay is it's a thing that you're born with. It's not a choice, it's what you are. So yeah, like if it's a choice, then conversion therapy is just kind of like convincing you out of that choice.
Yeah. Like anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just, like changing your mind, basically.
Yeah, whereas if it's not a choice, if it is what you are, then you are kind of like rewriting...
Then you're just lying to yourself, because you can't change your... If it's how you're born, then you can't change it, can you?
Well, we arrive at the same thing as transgenderism then.
Right,
it's like exactly. You can like have... Like,
you can live that way.
Yeah, you can have hormones displaced and you can have things nipped and tucked, but... Your base biology, the chromosomes that you were born with, will always be XX or XY.
Well, it's theory and practice, isn't it? So, like, you can fuck women for the rest of your life if you want. You would still be gay. So, in practice, you're heterosexual, but in theory, in your mind, in reality, you're homosexual.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there are loads of gay people that have never had any sexual contact with another man or woman.
Right.
Depending on what they are.
What, just kind of like, I'd like to... I haven't really had the chance to do my thing
just
yet.
At a time when it really wasn't okay, or places now where it really isn't okay. I actually saw a documentary the other day called Welcome to Chechnya.
Okay.
And that's about the persecution of gay people in Chechnya.
Okay.
And it is, vile. And utterly... And it really just puts everything in perspective when you hear people... So I've seen a few documentaries recently. This is just a quick thing.
Right.
One was called All in the Fight for Democracy. One was called The Fight, about the ACLU. And like... So All in the Fight for Democracy. They all at some point used the phrase dead white men. That's like was a recurring thing. And what they all tried to do was trace the current political climate or current news stories or phenomena back historically. So like with All in the Fight for Democracy, the argument basically was the voting rights and like voter ID and all that sort of thing is basically an echo of Jim Crow laws.
Right.
Well, Republicans, they just don't want black people voting.
Okay.
And so like by trying to get like voter ID and that sort of thing in communities where that might be difficult, that it's just like it's an extension of segregation.
Right.
Right. But and when you watch something like that, and you just that's such fucking nonsense. There's a part of I think it's The Fight, which is about the ACLU, basically in their various fights against Donald Trump. So like when he put a ban on all those countries that they couldn't come into the US, but like it's through a bunch of different things, and I think one of it pertained to, I think it was something about immigration, and they were basically reading like tweets that were saying like, the most heinous shit. And the guy who the documentary is following was like, sometimes I have to read this so I get the other side of the argument. You don't want to feel like you're in a bubble. And for that, how much of a straw man is that? Like, that is the other side of the argument.
Right.
It's just like people... Basically, it's like saying, I'm a member of the ACLU. I defend black people, in civil liberties cases and stuff like that. And then someone comes along and says the N-word. and you go, oh yeah, but I have to hear that because I have to know what the other side thinks. Like, not bothering to interact with the reasonable opposing arguments. That really wound me up, that did. As if, like, because the film was just saying, this is the one side, and the other side is people who say the N-word online. It's like, anyway. But it put it into perspective, like, all these people, oh, it's Jim Crow now, and then you see Welcome to Chechnya, which is like a genuine civil rights struggle in the world. Like, there's this little group that they smuggle people out of Chechnya, these gay people, and like all these videos of them being beaten to death, like rocks beating them to death on the head, and like this one guy, they were beating the shit out and like cutting his hair off with scissors as they were doing it.
Right.
And then there's one, I'm surprised they showed it actually. You don't see the most graphic element, but you see it happening. The gang raping anally a gay guy.
Oh, right.
And it's like, Jesus, like, it's the most horrific shit. But yeah, the point that put into perspective, like, all the whiny bullshit we have. And it's not like, oh, you can't care about everything, but it's like, just turn your eye to something that demands serious attention. But why did I bring up Welcome to Chechnya?
Who knows, Sam?
Something about gay, conversion therapy, how you're born.
I don't know.
Not a clue.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
That guy who was anally gang raped, did he survive that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because they are murdered there. That's kind of, or they're arrested and they're tortured.
Because if he survived that, then he's probably a rape survivor, right?
Right, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Actually try and loop, close this argument out in a loop.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's the documentary's worth watching because it's pioneered a technique where they basically use advanced AI to digitally change the faces of the subjects of the documentary. Because the director wanted to see the people the documentary was about, but their identities had to be protected.
Oh, right.
So, like, most of their faces.
So it's kind of like deep faking.
Basically like deep faking.
Oh, right.
You can usually tell, but like it's quite convincing.
Yeah.
Like, only at the very end, there was one guy who decided to come out and speak about it. So that there's a scene where he's speaking in front of all these reporters, and they remove it. So you can see what he actually looks like.
Oh, right, okay.
But, so it's kind of interesting in that respect. But what the hell are we talking about? Because there was a point to be made about that. Welcome to Chechnya.
Yeah, just like...
Conversion therapy. Changing your sexuality.
Yeah. Like, is it a choice or is it part, like, is your sexuality something you choose or something that you're born with? Because if it's something you're born with, then it's like transgenderism because you're trying to change your biology. And...
Yes. Yeah, okay. Well, what if it's a mixture? Which is probably true. What if it's a bit of choice and a bit of your nature?
Okay. Does that impact it a lot?
For me.
I guess just the morality of conversion therapy.
Well, let's return to, before we wrap it up completely, the hypothetical that it did work.
I closed it in a loop as well.
I know that it did work. Okay. That you could change your... Well, how would you feel about it? If someone wanted to do it.
Somebody wanted to do it.
If somebody wanted to do it.
I don't know. It's always difficult, isn't it, when you get to those kind of hypotheticals where it's like there is nothing... Let's remove all obstacle. So, like, I'll put this hypothetical to you, and there's usually something in there where you can go, well, you know, the person doesn't actually want to do it, or you can't, you don't know all of the circumstances leading up to it, or blah, 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 and that's what makes it different, like, you know. That's why I would say no, because of that criteria, or because of that detail. But when you're just like, no, it works, the person wants to do it, presumably they haven't been coerced.
No.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
Right.
It's like, right, okay.
So what do you think of it?
I don't know, I was buying time. I still don't know what I think of it.
Do you think it's morally neutral? Or do you think it would be wrong?
Again, like, it does go back to, is being gay a choice, or is it who you are? Because if it's a choice, then what am I arguing for? Like, it's nice that they're gay?
No.
No, like, if it's a choice.
Yes.
It's like, I chose to be gay, and now I'm going through this therapy to unchoose being gay.
Right.
It's like, oh no, I liked the decision that you made the first time around.
Right.
Why are you changing it back?
Yeah.
Whereas if it is a case of, no, I was born gay, that's part of who I am. It's like, right, okay, you're fundamentally changing.
Well, if it's all choice, none of it matters really. That kind of destroys the whole thing because. Yeah, it's just a choice. It's not like you're not denying anything about yourself if you change it.
Yeah, I feel like it's not that morally complicated if somebody originally chose to be gay and now they're unchoosing. I say unchoosing.
Yeah.
You know, they're making the choice to no longer be gay.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I don't know what exactly I'm arguing against here.
No, if it's all just a choice, which it clearly isn't.
No, I think there's enough. We know enough about it now. There's enough has happened.
Well, like, you wouldn't choose to be gay in Chechnya, would you?
No.
So, yeah, like, examples like that. But also, yeah, we know enough about it. It's probably not... But it is a bit behavioural and nurture, and I've heard this from gay kind of analysts and that sort of, you know, who've researched this stuff. But, okay, what if you were born a certain way and you wanted to change your sexuality? It was possible to do so. How would you feel about it? Because the dilemma I have is sexuality is a non-factor to me in how I judge a person. Does not matter within reasonable boundaries.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, as long as it's not illegal or...
if it's not like... was it called MAP?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Maps or paedophiles, generally anything like that.
Yeah.
If you're gay, whatever, it doesn't mean anything to me. So therefore, it shouldn't mean anything if you decide you want to change it. Because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Except to you, obviously.
No, but I suppose the problem there is that if it's not a choice, if it is part of who you are, then you are like changing something about yourself that's not, quote unquote, that's not meant to be changed.
Ooh, well, people who are born with illnesses, things like that, would you say the same thing? I'm not equating it.
No.
Obviously, there is... It's the biological... The naturalistic fallacy, isn't it? There's loads of things that are natural that aren't ideal.
Yeah, they aren't necessarily like the correct
they aren't virtuous,
thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's the spectrum, isn't it? On one end, you've got crippling diseases that we would like to cure.
Yeah.
And at the other end, you've got transgenderism, I guess.
Sure.
Where it's like, you know, it's like there really isn't a solution to this.
Yeah.
You don't just become the other gender.
No.
There's all this, like, you know...
There's a lot.
There's a lot to it. So yeah, where does your sexual orientation fall on that spectrum?
Yeah. So that's the thing. If it's like, you're born... Again, removing the caveat of, or removing coercion as a factor. So, like, in this hypothetical, we know all the people that want to do it are doing it of their own volition, their own free will. They've thought about it. They've gone through counselling, whatever. And they decided that, you know, religiously, homosexuality is not accepted.
Yeah.
They're religious. They want to become straight.
Yeah.
Now, me personally, I would say Godspeed, because I don't care either way. It matters to them, so... Shouldn't they be allowed to do it? But then, so that on one side there's that, but on the other side there's, but it doesn't matter. So why would you change?
Yeah,
it's, do you know what I mean? It's, but I suppose if I come down on one side, it is only if you want to do it.
Okay,
because I have to be philosophically consistent, and if I'm gonna say I'm not down with the trans thing, I don't think you can change your gender. But hey, if you want to pay someone to do it, you go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Then I can't be against someone who wants to change their sexuality.
Okay.
Because I would say that's significantly a less totalizing factor or element of your being is your sexuality.
Okay.
Who you fuck and what you like are. They're two very different things.
Yeah.
So does that wrap it up? I don't support... I wouldn't go to someone gay and go, you should get conversion therapy.
Yeah.
But if they wanted to... I can't reasonably be against it.
Okay. And also, people who've been raped grow up? Is that what you were saying?
Wait. Why are you straw-manning me?
No, because you were like, oh, survivor. Ugh.
No, I said rape survivor.
Yeah, rape survivor.
The prefix.
Yeah.
I'm okay with them being called survivors.
Okay.
It's the blah blah survivor. It's the, you know, the thing that inspired this conversation. Conversion therapy survivor.
Right. Or was that you just genuinely not remembering?
Yeah.
All right.
I was genuinely not remembering.
Okay.
You see it all the time, don't you? A blah blah survivor. A blah blah survivor. Let's just stop that. I'm okay with you being called a survivor. And the thing is, like that clip from Welcome to Chechnya, and what others in the film telling their stories, and you would come across as callous if you go, I wouldn't call you a rape survivor, though. I don't like that word. It would come across as just like the worst thing. But I do stand by it. Like, in the cold light of day.
I understand that I sound like a bastard, but
Well, no, because there are obviously cases where it would be wrong to call them anything but survivors. I just don't like the language game, I suppose.
Okay.
The expansion of survivor to things that like didn't really require you surviving it. Most of the times you're living through something. Only very few things require that you survive them.
Yeah.
So
it's one of those kind of passive shifts in language, isn't it?
Right.
So there was no announcement. It's like, oh, you are now conversion therapy survivors. Well, you're now called conversion therapy survivors.
Yeah.
There was no this is a thing that we're going to do. It's like when they started capitalizing black in articles. Which
I will never do.
No. It's when they started calling women birthing people.
Yes.
That just kind of started. Like, there was no announcement. It's just like all of a sudden Congress were calling women birthing people.
Yes.
Like, right, okay.
Yeah, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the part of the problem.
Oh, yeah, like they've eroded the meaning of so many things.
Yeah.
Racism being, I would say, at the top of the list. That means nothing now.
Yeah.
It's laughable. It's genuinely, it means nothing to me. I think we've talked about this before.
The bar for racism is so low now.
Yeah.
Just it just simply, you only have to make a mistake.
Yeah.
In terms of like identifying somebody, like, it's not quite racism, but like, if you use the wrong pronoun.
Yes.
You are open to being like labeled a sexist.
Transphobe, yeah.
Oh, transphobe or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
And a similar thing with racism is like this, just, I don't know, not approving of, what's it called? Critical race theory.
Yes.
It's like, well, you're clearly a racist.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I just don't agree with the topic,
Well, I saw one of the other documentaries I saw was called Sisters with Transistors. And it's about women that... I've seen a lot of that, a lot of documentaries recently about women that pioneered this field or other. And like electronic music and like, I think, was it a woman that wrote the Doctor Who theme?
Oh, I don't know that. I know that the producer, the first producer was a woman.
Yes, I think the theme was also written by a woman.
Okay.
Like experimenting with theremins and all that sort of thing. And like working at the BBC and... Okay, yeah, that's kind of an interesting story. But like all the contemporary women talking about it were saying, all of the history of music and blah, blah it was written by dead white males. It was written by white men. So, and they were basically saying that there was a racism inherent in that. You're like,
okay,
what is this? Like, okay, so historically, many white men have achieved a lot. Just be grateful. Be grateful for it.
I was going to say, if we have basically the entire history of music, if we have white men to thank for that, then I'm going to thank them.
Yeah, it's not like...
There's a lot of good music out there that white men wrote.
If women were genuinely subjugated in all these different arenas, which I think is almost certainly overblown. I know women haven't been treated as well as men historically, but I think the narrative of things are just shit for all of humankind, and only very recently have they got a little bit better. Only a little bit, mind you.
Yeah.
Recently. I think
we still have a long way to go.
Yeah, I think it's nonsense.
Yeah.
I think it's so full of shit.
Right.
But like, even if that was true, like women were kind of kept out of that doesn't detract from Beethoven and that they did do what they did.
Yeah.
Okay, women weren't allowed. It's not their fault. Do you know what I mean? It's like, just be grateful for what was actually done, what was created.
And now that we're here at this point where okay, women, let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Show us what you got. Don't just be like, oh, well, we didn't have a chance to show you what we had, 200 years ago when Beethoven was about.
Yeah.
Like, no, but you have the chance now.
But it's all this contempt. This contempt for, it was all white. It's just, it is racism, isn't it? There's no other word for it. There's another documentary, I've watched a lot, called Coded Bias.
Right.
Which is about... This isn't... I'm not saying they made the wrong point or anything, just to show you how niche this stuff gets. In artificial intelligence recognition software, it's not as good at recognizing black people.
Oh, right, okay.
So there's a documentary about that.
Okay.
Because the system's designed by white men.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, they were smart men. Like, they give them some fucking credit.
They built a machine that was like, is that Jeff?
Right, exactly. It's just, anyway. So, to tie it all up.
Okay.
Don't support conversion therapy personally.
You don't?
I don't.
Okay.
Nor do you, I assume.
No. It's always been one of those things where it's like, we don't like that.
Yeah, but politically, we allow for it. We have to allow for it.
Yes, if it's voluntary, of course.
If it's voluntary, yes.
You don't just be like, but we really want to convert the gays. It's like, oh, well, all right, you scamp. It's like, no.
No, of course.
Like, the person has to be...
Anything that violates individual liberty is wrong.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay.
That's that.
Okay. Yeah, you have watched a lot of documentaries recently, haven't you?
I really have, yeah.
Okay.
That's just scraping. That's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you watched the Sparks Brothers?
Is that your segue?
That's my segue into the Sparks Brothers.
Well, I think I have.
Yes, because I've also watched the Sparks Brothers.
Have you?
Yes.
That's funny. We could do a review of
We could do that, couldn't we?
Yeah.
One documentary this year that we've both seen is the Sparks Brothers.
Yeah, is that the only documentary you've seen this year?
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're not missing much.
Oh, I'm not.
Most documentaries are now along the lines of, men did it, and now black women are doing it. Woo! That's genuinely what most documentaries are. But let's talk about the Sparks Brothers.
Yeah, let's talk about the Sparks Brothers.
Do you like it?
Well, why did we watch it, Sam?
Why did we watch it?
Why did we watch it?
Beyond that it was a well-reviewed film?
Beyond that, yeah.
Well, it was an Edgar Wright film.
It's an Edgar Wright film, yes. It's Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright's first documentary? Yeah.
Explain it to the people.
This might be the year that Edgar Wright tells us all, or shows us all, that he is actually as good as everyone thinks he is.
He deserves the praise.
Yeah. That was a weird statement.
But you were trying to say he's versatile.
Yes. Okay. The versatility is the thing that's going to elevate him.
Yeah.
Because there's that, I'm sure, like, if anyone is anyone on the internet, they probably would have seen that Every Frame of Painting
Anyone
video.
who's into film.
Yeah, anyone who's into film, or anybody who's just like in that sector of YouTube have probably seen the, what's it called?
How to do visual comedy.
Which is a video essay by Every Frame of Painting.
Yeah.
Who sadly...
they no longer make videos, There are others that are in that vein, though. Yeah. Not as good.
No, but that's the thing. They were one of the good ones, Every Frame of Painting.
They were, yeah.
That video on how to do visual comedy and shows all of Edgar Wright's work. And Edgar Wright's work, like, obviously you've got the Cornetto trilogy films, which are all pretty similar tonally and in terms of the content. They have, like, running themes and jokes and obviously actors and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then you've got, on the outside of that, you've got Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and you've got Baby Driver.
Yeah.
Which, again, they're different.
Yeah.
But they're still very comedic and very, like...
Yeah. I think Baby Driver is the start of the turn.
Okay.
Because you've got the Cornetto trilogy, which is full on.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about it at some point before, not on the podcast. When you watch any other film, usually comedy film, you realise how lazy...
Oh, yeah.
Like most direct... Not late, but you know what I mean? Like, he uses everything, doesn't he?
Yes.
Sound,
the whole
editing, every possible... Yeah. He wrings as much out of it as he can.
That's part of that video, isn't it? That's part of the How to Do Visual Comedy video, where Every Frame of Painting says, like, oh, let me show you a clip from a comedy film. They just kind of, like, stand there.
They just shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah. To the point, I find it... With that in comedy, Stuart Lee in stand-up, and Parasite... makes it hard for me to watch most things now. I go, well, it's not. It doesn't compare, does it? It's like
it's not the same.
Not every frame is beautifully masterful.
Yeah.
So
or fucking dense with information. Because that's the thing. It'll just be like Melissa McCarthy against like a blurred background.
Yeah.
Going, well, my clit's bigger than yours, or whatever she says.
Yeah, it starts rubbing it.
And then it starts vomiting into something.
Into her clit.
Because that's modern comedy now.
Pretty much is. Well, Bridesmaids was them shitting, wasn't it? Well, another example he uses, isn't it, is when, like, any rom-com that shows someone travelling to a new city, it'll just be second unit director, like, helicopter shots of bridges and all that. And then Edgar in Hot Fuzz when he's going to Sanford.
Yeah.
And just the visual storytelling is so brilliant.
In, like, half the time he's showing you the journey, he's showing you, like, the fact that he's, like, moving away from civilization.
Yeah, the bars on the phone going down.
Yeah, the jarringness of the cuts.
The different types of taxis that he's getting into.
There's so much going on. And that's another feature of Edgar Wright's films, which I think, I'm sure, like, a lot of people, this is not a new observation.
No.
But, like, you'll, like, watch a scene from an Edgar Wright movie, and you'll catch, like, the surface jokes the first time round, the stuff that's like, I'm telling a joke right now. And you'll go, oh, that was a funny joke.
Yeah.
And then when you rewatch it, you'll see, like, a character doing a thing in a background.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's like Airplane, isn't it?
Yeah, and then, like, you'll catch something else. And, like, you'll watch the same scene, like, 4 or 5 times, and you'll keep catching new information.
Yeah.
So his films, they're always funny. Because even when you've stopped laughing at the big jokes...
Yeah.
It's like, right, I'm used to those jokes now. There's more stuff for you to find.
It's the rhythm as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like, and the fact he uses everything, like in Hot Fuzz, there's that bit where... Like, I didn't know about this until I heard the audio commentary.
Okay.
There's a tiny moment where Timothy Dalton looks at the camera.
Okay.
And when he does it, they put in a little ding in the background.
Right.
So like, to kind of mark it. Things like that, like any other director would just go, let's just reshoot that.
Yeah. He looked at the camera, let's, like, retake.
Yeah. But no, it's like, we'll make a little tiny joke out of it that maybe you only get on a subconscious level.
Yeah.
But, like, the rhythm of it is, like, flowing through you. But yeah, I think so. You've got the Cornetto trilogy. Scott Pilgrim, even though it's tucked in there, is that taken to the limit?
Yeah.
Of, like, it's so full on that it's like that. Those alarms that you can only hear if you're under a certain age.
Okay.
Like the really high pitched.
Yeah, I know the ones.
Yeah. I think if you're over a certain age, Scott Pilgrim is just unpalatable.
Oh yeah.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
And then I think Baby Driver is kind of him coming a little bit more to the center of, like, I'm not going to be as insane as those films.
Yeah.
A little bit more tightly controlled. And now obviously we have the Sparks Brothers and Last Night in Soho, which I think is playing at the Venice Film Festival. Okay. So, like, and they only play high class.
Yeah, proper movies.
So he really is kind of expanding.
Well, that's the thing, Sparks Brothers. Yeah, so we like Edgar Wright.
We like Edgar Wright, yes.
Big fans of his.
Yeah, although he's matured. Because my memory of Edgar Wright is him and Simon Pegg dicking about in the behind the scenes on the... But he's just, like, a grown-up now.
Well, he's in his 40s.
I know, but it's just, I don't like it. It's weird. Yeah.
Especially since, there's multiple stories from Edgar Wright himself, isn't there? Because he started pretty young in the industry.
Very young, yeah.
Yeah, like he was a director, or he was, like, pretty high up in the echelons of production. Well, he was quite early on.
He was directing TV when he was, like, 18, 19.
Yeah.
Like, he directed the French and Saunders Christmas special, and...
Yeah.
Like, he was, like, a wunderkind, like, really...
Yeah, so really he's been there, like, he's, like, the kid in the industry.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's now in his 40s...
I know.
It's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah. Death looms. Yeah.
Death is coming.
Yeah.
Death is here. Death is outside.
Yeah.
That's the IT crowd again.
It is.
Yeah, I've been watching the IT crowd recently.
Have you?
Well, you put a couple of episodes on, and I was like, right, well, I'm going to have to rewatch it now, aren't I? So I have.
It is good.
It is very good. Yeah. Anyway, we like Edgar
Wright. And done. A gun! Sorry.
I wonder if it's loaded.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on from that.
God damn, these electric sex bats.
Yeah.
I mean, like, watch it.
Oh, yeah, no,
because this is all just nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. So we like Edgar Wright.
We do.
And yeah, this year we've got a documentary and we've got a horror film coming out later this year. Like a straight up
70s inspired Repulsion, Don't Look Now style psychological horror movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if he nails, like, the horror film...
He will, won't he?
Yeah.
He will.
I mean, after watching the Sparks Brothers, it's like, right, we are in safe hands.
We can do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To give away our opinion.
Yeah, we liked it.
Yeah. We like it a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so the film is about the Sparks Brothers, or Sparks. As they're more commonly known. Oh yeah, that's a thing in the film, isn't it?
Yes.
He calls the document... Because I think the story is... The Sparks are a band... of two brothers primarily. There have been, like, a rotating cast of various other band members.
Yeah. But basically, like, session.
Yeah, basically musicians. Session musicians. They show up for, like, an album or two and then they've moved on. But it's always those two brothers.
Yeah.
The Male Brothers?
Yep.
Yeah. And I think their original band name, Half Nelson?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And the studio was like, let's call you something else.
Let's foreground the fact that it's brothers.
Yeah,
like that'll be a
you
USP.
guys are brothers. You guys are really into film. The Marx Brothers will call you the Sparks Brothers.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we do not approve.
So they acquiesced to Sparks eventually, didn't they? So yeah, like I like that the title is like a jesty middle finger to them. It plays nicely into their shtick, I think, isn't it? Which is like, how serious are they?
Yes.
How sincere is it all, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Yes. And it's a pretty narratively, quote unquote, speaking, it's a very standard music documentary. Here is their career start to finish.
Yes.
It's that. But it's Sparks. And they've had a very long career. They've had a very prolific career. So there's a lot of stuff.
Had you heard about them before this film?
If you just said to me, have you heard the band Sparks? I would have said no. But listening through the documentary, it turns out that I know at least 3 of their songs.
Yeah. See, I knew 2.
Okay, what were the 2 that you knew?
I knew This Town Ain't Big Enough for both of us, and the number one song. And the number one song in Heaven.
Okay.
But like, because they've been used in films, basically.
Yes.
And I knew the album cover with them tied up on the back of the ship.
Right.
I'd seen that before. But yeah, no, I think I'd maybe heard people in the Edgar Wright sphere, so like Adam Buxton, maybe talk about them on a podcast at some point.
Yeah.
Because they're into like their obscure music. And
oh yeah, this is exactly the type of band that he would go for. Because I think in the trailer, the sort of promotional tagline, if you will, of the film is, this documentary is about your band's favourite band.
Yes.
Like, people who are into music love Sparks.
Yeah.
But like, as far as like the general public are concerned, they're still kind of underground.
And Sparks are basically like unwittingly inspired or unconsciously inspired loads of different. I don't think, like, they basically invented electronic music.
I was going to say, I don't know if they draw a direct correlation in the documentary, but they did a synth pop album.
Sorry, synth pop.
Yeah, they did a synth pop album before the 80s.
Yeah. Like
a couple of years before the 80s.
Yeah.
And then it obviously that just became a thing. And they were like, oh, yeah, we've moved on.
Yeah.
We're doing something else now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so even though it's pretty standard, it's just like, oh, yeah, so this documentary about this band you've never heard of. There's a hell of a lot to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of stuff going on.
They're very prolific, for one thing.
Yeah, so just like the sheer amount of information that is thrown at you is one thing. But the way that information is presented as well, there are a lot of moving parts to it.
Yeah, and again, it's fairly conventional in that it's basically talking heads with the brothers themselves and a whole host of just celebrities and people that were in the band. Obviously footage from videos of it's archival footage. Yeah. And then occasionally little animations.
Yeah, like animated vignettes. But not just animation, not just one style of animation. You've got stop motion, you've got puppets, you've got like hand-drawn animation. Yeah. You've got all of this
to basically recreate scenes that weren't filmed. Like, let's imagine how this would have gone.
But also, like, they take artistic license with it as well. Which is nice that there's actual artistry to this documentary.
Yeah, there really is,
There's that, that they tell that story about, what's the other one?
Russell.
Yeah. We'll get to Ron. They tell a story about Russell was like on stage and he fell over and he like cut his head open. Yeah. Being a good like musician, a good showman, he just sort of carried on with it. But like in the story, they say like the head, he kept bleeding from the head. I don't know if like the audience picked up on it or whether they just like
I think they might have thought it was part of the act.
Yeah. But they tell like, Ron was looking over at him and he was actually really concerned, but everyone was just kind of trying to roll with it. But the visuals to accompany that are this kind of like stop motion. I think it's a puppet. I don't know whether it's clay or whether it's wool, but it's like a puppet. But yeah, it sort of trips over and it gets back up and it's got all of this like very thick gloopy liquid just sort of oozing out of its head.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's almost like you could see pieces of brain and then you see like its brain start dribbling out. Yeah. So it's like they are actually like taking
expressionistic.
It's expressionistic.
Well, generally speaking, it's annoying how masterfully crafted the film is. Because it's like all he's ever done is he's like a career documentarian.
Yeah, this is
music doc.
This is a man who he's like done CG and everything before, but this is a man that like in his like main career, the career that we're familiar with, he's never touched animation before.
No,
and yet here are these very like masterfully integrated, very well done segments of animation.
Well, I smell an editing, Geordie.
Oh, do you now?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Well, he's got he's got one more film coming out this year.
Yeah.
So give him a chance.
Yeah. Well,
see which one.
Okay.
They might both.
I smell a nom. Yeah, I smell a nom.
No, it's just every aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's so well edited. It's so well put together.
It's quite a long film as well, but it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Which seems daunting at first.
It definitely does, yeah.
Yeah.
Before you get into the rhythm of it.
I think I just have less of a tolerance for documentaries. Around about the hour mark, even if I'm enjoying it, it starts to wane for me a little bit.
That's fair. I mean, I've become basically as okay with documentaries that I have with normal narrative cinema, but that kind of length is always intimidating.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, oh god, do I have to?
Yeah.
Just why can't you make an hour and a half film?
Yeah.
You know, the older I get as well. But my favourite music doc is Montage of Heck.
Oh, the Nirvana one.
The Nirvana one. And I admit that maybe a large part of that is because I love Nirvana.
Well, it's more a Cobain documentary than a Nirvana documentary.
Yeah, it's a Kurt Cobain Montage of Heck.
Yeah.
I love the music, obviously, and it's a finite story, you know. Also uses animation, that kind of thing is brilliantly put together. I don't know which I prefer though, is that this scrapes it, is the point. This might be as good as it. Thing with Montage of Heck, it was from it had so much material, all of his journals, which have never been seen before, and but this is, if not as good, it certainly comes very, very close. It might be better.
I mean, again, there's no shortage of material to work with in a Sparks documentary.
What, 25 albums?
25 albums.
Yeah.
That's the climax of the film, isn't it? Which, absolutely. That is your climax. It's when they're talking about doing those 25 shows over 25 nights.
Yeah.
Every night, back to back. Not back to back. Like one night they'll do the first album, the second night they'll do the second.
25 nights.
Over 25 nights with no breaks in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, I can't remember who said it. One of the fans saying it was almost like a challenge to the fans. You begrudgingly felt, if you were a true fan, you had to go, every night as well.
Yeah. And that's the thing, we would be those people, wouldn't we?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's we have to go every night.
Yeah, why would you just go to one album?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, one of the nice things is, obviously, because it's not like they're gone now, they're continuing, they're still going.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is what it uses as its resolution. But they've got a film coming up, haven't they? Directed by Leos Carax.
Oh, yes.
Which is called Annette, which they wrote. And I've been looking forward to Annette for a while.
Okay.
Adam Driver, Marion Cotillard, the guy who directed Holy Motors. It's going to be weird. Okay. I'm interested. I had no idea who they were, that they'd written it. So it is it kind of nicely feeds into that thing of they've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
You just never noticed them, you know? But it's also kind of on a mortal level. It's just reassuring that they are going on and on to greener pastures.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? It's not just, there was this band and now there's not.
Yeah.
So, no, they're still cracking on. They're still going,
yeah.
You know?
It could, yeah. It's this is pretty definitive.
Yeah.
In terms of the career they've had so far, this is the definitive article.
Yeah.
But they're not done yet, which is
they're
nice.
Not done. Yeah.
But that's nice. Like you were saying about the fact that they're writing that film that's coming up. Mm-hmm. That's part of the thing they cover in the documentary is the long-standing relationship they've had with cinema.
Yeah.
It's inspired so much about not just the way they've done their music videos, but the way the lyrics are written, the type of storytelling in their music.
Well, quick tidbit. I can't remember if it's actually said in the documentary, but I saw an interview with Edgar Wright and the Mail brothers. And because they made, I think Russell made a French New Wave parody short film when he was young. And Edgar Wright said he basically made the identical film.
Right.
Not just a parody of French New Wave, but the exact same scenarios as well. So that was what first got, I'm going to get on with these guys.
Yeah. Not deliberately. Yeah. He just, by happenstance, he ended up making exactly the same thing.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
right, okay.
I saw this cool picture. He said, I haven't seen them in the flesh. We've been doing loads of interviews, but remotely. So I haven't seen them in a year. And it was just a photo, and this is my first thing of them. And they were just at the top floor of this hotel, just pulling all these weird gestures. But yeah, no. One of the carrying on with your point about the stories.
Oh yeah. So film was inspired so much about how they go about being,
Yeah.
Not just as a band, but like as people as well. It's kind of like it's formed a large part of their identity.
Yeah.
And yet they've had such an unsuccessful career with cinema. There's like 2 or 3 films that they were not just planning to do, they were in the throes of production.
Yeah, Tim Burton.
They were going to do a film with Tim Burton.
What was that? I feel like it was an adaptation of something, wasn't it? It was like Tim Burton's...
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember what it is.
I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. But like prior to that, there was like a famous... Was he a French director?
You'll have to remind me.
Oh, I don't know the name of the guy.
Okay.
But there was like a guy that was either like a big figure in the style of cinema that Ron was really enamored with.
Right.
Or I guess they were both enamored with. Or whether it was somebody that they just like met at some point in their career and was like, we're going to collaborate.
Right, okay.
And that was like happening.
Yeah.
But then because of ill health, the director had to pull out.
Okay.
It never saw the light of day.
It wasn't Jean-Luc Godard, was it?
I don't think it was Godard.
Okay.
I don't think it was Godard.
Okay.
So yeah, the fact that they've got a film coming out that looks like it is going to come out is nice. And the fact that they have such a nice relationship with the director of their documentary.
Yeah, you get the sense they approve of the film. They definitely approve. And that's always nice. Not in like a hagiographic, because it's not hagiographic.
No.
It manages to be very celebratory and not actually have anything detrimental to them. It's not like there's a point where they go, oh, but they had their dark points. And then it kind of goes into an area of critique. It doesn't do that. But even so, it still doesn't come across as...
If the documentary is hiding...
Yeah.
This dark secret when they pulled the Breaking Bad and started cooking meth in the desert or whatever.
Yeah.
It hit it very well.
Yeah.
I trust that this is one of the good ones. Like they didn't have this like, you know, there wasn't like a year where they just became bastards.
There's no Me Too waiting to happen.
There's no Me Too waiting to happen. They're just good people.
Yeah.
Who just are really passionate about music and just wanted it to happen. And it kind of happened, but not really.
Yeah, well, I think it says a lot about their character that nobody that was kicked out of the band has a bad word to say about them. You know, unless they just kept it out, which I don't think he would have done.
No.
I'd like to think he's fair enough that he would have at least gone, right, for like, to be impartial.
Well, like you said, like it's not a hagiographic.
Yeah.
It's not a hagiographic endeavor.
It's a celebration, but it's
it
not
is a celebration, but like it, like there are moments in which it's clear the Sparks brothers, the male brothers, those poor bastards.
That's the thing, though, because you know that's part of it. That's part of the joke. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Everywhere they go now, people are going to call them the Sparks brothers.
Yeah, he's ruined their lives.
Yeah, because he brings it up in the film, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He says, "I'm going to call it this. Are you okay with that?" I think Russell says, "For lack of a better title, then yeah, I suppose." Yeah.
But yeah, there's moments where they're clearly complicit in the film. There's like these jokey little sequences where like they're holding up window frames. It's like Edgar Wright's like, we're going to peek through the window into their career, and there's that like whole little bit at the end.
Yeah,
it might be mid-credit or post-credit or something.
It's basically the last thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like, here are 10 facts about the Sparks brothers, and they're all like these. Like, I don't know if they're real facts.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It's just made up.
Yeah.
But to kind of add to the mythology.
To add to the mythology of them. And then there's that like little joke reveal at the end.
Yeah,
it's like,
they Mission Impossible.
Yeah, they Mission Impossible themselves. And it's like, okay, yeah, these guys are... Like, Edgar Wright just clearly
we should probably clarify what that is, because that was just a visual thing between you and me. They take masks off, showing them to be the other person. Basically.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm actually Ron, and Ron is actually me, and then they take masks
reveal,
off. Yeah, and it's just like, why? You're still the same people. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
But yeah, like moments where it's like, he just wants to work with these people. But like, it's nice because those segments, they're kind of isolated from the rest of the film. When it comes to like the documentary just recounting their story, there might be moments where the male brothers comment on the events, but it's not like they're not telling you the story.
No, yeah, they're in it about as much as all the other interviewees, really. Maybe a tiny bit more.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, it feels like if it concerns any niche band or hobbyist interest, it's mandatory that Patton Oswalt be involved and Fred Armisen be involved. Both of them have to be in anything that's vaguely obscure.
I'm really starting to not like Patton Oswalt.
What is it about him that you don't like?
I don't know.
Is it because you've been watching King of Queens?
Well, I haven't been watching it. It's been on when I've been in work.
Okay.
Because I'm working from home at the moment.
Yeah.
And people are also home.
Yes.
And because my office is the front room,
I
just have to sit there while King of Queens plays endlessly all day, every day.
Was it my back? Is it my back is getting?
My head is getting weird.
Yeah, my head is getting weird. My back is getting tight. Sitting here in traffic on the Queensboro Bridge tonight. I don't care, 'cause all I wanna do is cash my check and drive right home to you. So I didn't remember that until I sang it then. Because baby, all my life I will be driving home to you. Then he forgets something in the van, doesn't he?
No, he drops an ice cream.
Oh, he drops an ice cream.
So they go back to buy a new ice cream.
That's right, yeah. Terrible.
Yeah, I hate it.
It's such a bad show. But yeah, alright. But you don't like Patton Oswalt?
No. I think because he's played like...
He plays himself, really.
He plays himself, but yeah, like in King of Queens, he is just this like pathetic specimen of a human.
As I said.
Yeah, and just, like, obviously you have your problems with him because he's like a political dumbass.
Yes, basically. Yeah, I don't like his politics.
Yeah, and his stand-up isn't funny.
No,
And like we said, he's in King of Queens, and feels like everything he's in, he's being the same guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just like, he feels like one of those, he's what people think nerds are, you know?
Yeah.
Like, someone like, I forgot his name, Kevin James. Someone like Kevin James, who's clearly not a nerd. He's like, oh, you know, I'm like a guy.
A bloke.
I'm a bloke. I drink sports and eat beer and all that kind of shit. Yeah. And, like, he looks at Patton Oswalt and he's like, oh, that's what a nerd is.
Right.
I'm going to have him in my show to make it so, you know, like, I'm representing the nerds.
Are you calling Patton Oswalt an Uncle Tom of nerds?
Yeah, I am. I guess that is
like
what I'm doing.
Nerdsploitation.
Nerdsploitation.
Geeksploitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is, he is that. That is the... It's not like... Be. But he's into comic books and like sci-fi movies.
Oh, no, there are people who are like that. But in the same way that like the Big Bang Theory sort of became geek blackface.
Right.
Where it was just, it became such a... Like, you watch those early episodes of the Big Bang Theory and like Sheldon and Leonard, and they are characters. And then by the time you get towards the end of the show, it's like everything, it's all the cliches. You know, you get so excited about the comic book stuff, and
the main problem with the Big Bang Theory is it's sold out in the other sense. Like, okay, it's got to straddle appealing to like nerds and like showing them to be that, but also be a mainstream network sitcom.
Yeah,
but then it's sold out to the latter half in the second half of its run, where we'll get all the women in, so Penny has friends, and they'll all be coupled up with, you know, relatively speaking, attractive women. Obviously, Penny that's the whole thing of her. Bernadette is not an ugly woman.
No.
And Amy, is bland. But
it feels appropriate for, like, Sheldon.
It feels appropriate for Sheldon, but it became Friends. It just became, like, the geek thing.
Yeah.
Just became kind of decoration, really. It just became about relationships. And Sheldon got long hair. And,
which is why the geek thing became, like, shallower. Almost.
It
became more of a cliche because that was less the focus. And like the science as well, like they go to the lab and they're just like, you know, like shooting lasers at action figures and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know, I kind of felt like, it's been a while since I've seen early Big Bang Theory, but I felt like the point was, it was supposed to pay a bit more respect to
early Big Bang Theory. Season 2 of the Big Bang Theory is good.
Okay.
It's not like amazing comedy, but every episode's really quite well written for what it is.
Okay.
And it's about the four of them being totally socially ostracized. It's just them hanging out with each other and doing geeky things. Because that's what made me, back in the day when I was like 13, 14, I fell in love with the Big Bang Theory in its second season, because I remember thinking, it's like Friends, but for a smarter person.
Right.
It's a cut above its format. And I stand by that for a lot of it. Probably was the smartest studio sitcom on TV for its first few years, and then just completely sold out. But yeah, Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt is an Uncle Tom.
Is an Uncle Tom for geeks. And, Okay, so you don't like him.
I don't like him.
He's in the documentary. I'm pulling it all back. Going back through every point.
Okay,
yes, but him and Fred Armisen, they tend to be in these things.
Yeah.
Do you know Fred Armisen?
Not by name. I'm sure if I saw a picture.
Oh yeah, like he's very recognizable. He's kind of he's been in every show.
Right.
He's like guested in every show. He did Portlandia. Do you ever see that?
No.
It don't matter. Yes, I was worried at the beginning because you said it's, they don't tell this story, but Edgar Wright does a little bit of narration at the beginning, and I was like, oh no, not this. I don't want him talking over the entire film.
Oh, right, okay.
And he doesn't. It is just to introduce
No, he doesn't.
Because the problem is, I don't love documentaries that do that anyway. I like documentaries that just tell the story by splicing together footage and clips.
Through the talking heads and through the archive footage, the story is delivered to you.
Like, what's that really brilliant YouTube half-hour thing about the late night wars?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like you bring that up sometimes. It is beautifully edited.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a couple of people who do that. I think Crobcat is another one where he specializes in that sort of thing, where he just takes he'll take like a game like Cyberpunk or Crackdown 3 and he'll show every single stage of so like when it was initially announced, all of the promises that were made, then he'll show the actual release and he'll show you what promises were broken.
Right, he's showing, not telling.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, with the late night wars, it charts the entire, basically everything that happened between Jay Leno and Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
The fact that like Conan was promised the show and then he went on to the show and he was kicked off because Jay Leno came back, and then it shows like Conan being very like, you know, I'm disappointed, but this is the way the chips have fallen. I'll never speak ill of Jay Leno. And then Jay Leno's like, Conan O'Brien, who the fuck's that?
Yeah, it's I mean, it makes it like, it becomes a little thriller.
Yeah.
Like the way it's edited, it's very like, it's exciting, it's suspenseful, like, ooh, what's gonna...
Yeah, it's a proper story unfolding.
Even though it's a proper insider baseball thing. Yeah. Like, I think if you weren't into TV, you don't know what the hell this refers to.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, there have been books written about it and everything. It is fascinating. Anyway,
yeah, I didn't have that fear when he started speaking.
Okay. But he's not the most charismatic speaker is the problem.
No, he's not.
So that was
probably why he's a director.
Yes.
not an actor.
Yeah.
Director and writer, because obviously Simon Pegg heavily involved in the script for the Cornetto trilogy.
He and Wright, they wrote all of them.
Yeah.
It was a partnership, yeah.
Yeah, but Pegg starred in them, whereas Wright was like, I'll just stay behind the camera and do a great job.
Yeah, it's kind of like the... it's Merchant and Gervais, isn't it?
Yeah.
Both Wright... Well, actually, they both directed as well. Yeah, so they say. I reckon they both wrote it, kind of. I think Merchant directed and Gervais was in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't concerned with him narrating. Mm-hmm. It just didn't really register for me. It's like, oh yeah, this is just what a documentary does. I didn't have that thing of like, oh, what if he talks through the whole thing?
Well, I suppose just because it was an Edgar Wright documentary, I expected it to be a cut above the rest.
Yeah.
And then it was. Like, this was a minor worry that swiftly went away.
I did have like a moment where he shows up as one of the talking heads.
Yes.
It's like, oh, really?
Yeah, we're doing this now.
Yeah, you're one of the fans.
Yeah,
you're one of the celebrity fans, are you, Edgar Wright?
Yeah.
It's not good enough that you made the documentary. You have to be in it as well.
It makes sense, though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, not. Yeah, I'm not actually having a go. Yeah. It was like that was my initial kind of like, oh, he's in it now, is he?
Yes.
But he's in it like twice.
Yeah.
And yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, it's not a thesis either. It's not like Edgar Wright is going, I am a big Sparks fan. Look how big a Sparks fan I am.
No, he just does what the rest of them have done. So I first noticed them when they were on Top of the Pops. So
yeah.
He's kind of giving... He's giving the perspective of, an English guy of his age that would have seen them in the 80s on Top of the Pops,
Yeah.
I think Adam Buxton's in it as well, isn't he? Quite briefly.
Yes.
But he's in it as well.
Yeah. He mentions that kind of thing. Yeah. They're American.
Yeah, I definitely, through all the press, would have thought they were English. Looking at them, I would have thought they're English. Yeah. Because Americans, I don't want to make broad generalizations, but they're not as... adventurous with their image.
No, and these are...
You get like Frank Zappa and all these, but and
they're like...
They're weird.
Yeah, but these are like Californian Americans, right?
Californians, and you look at Ron Mail, it's like, right, he's a British musician, like definitely, he's a weirdo.
He looks like he's straight out of Monty Python. He's not
exactly.
He's not an American. He's not from California, for fuck's sake, but he is.
And even just hearing the music, I would have thought they're English, because they sound like, the early stuff anyway sounds like Sweet.
Okay.
There's a man in the back... Ballroom Blitz.
Oh, right, okay.
They sound like his voice sounds a bit like that.
Yeah.
And they sound like a kind of slightly proggy 70s, 80s English band. Like that you're only into if you're into David Bowie and you're into Joy Division and stuff like that. You know? I'm not saying they're musically similar, but those types of people, me. Well,
we haven't really, given that this is the Sparks Brothers documentary, we haven't really talked about the Sparks Brothers too much. We've talked more about the filmmaking and and all that.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I mean, firstly, like, this passed the documentary test for me. I brought this up whenever we talked about this in the past, that, like, a documentary can't just have an interesting topic. It needs to be a good film in its own right.
Well, yeah.
Which this is.
That's what might pip it eventually slightly above Montage of Heck.
Okay.
Because Montage of Heck already had my goodwill going into it.
Yeah.
You know? It didn't have to try as hard.
Whereas this, I assume it's the same for you, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, nothing. I knew nothing about it.
There was goodwill in the sense that we like Edgar Wright.
Oh, yeah, sure. I wasn't going in expecting it to be bad.
In terms of the subject, we knew basically nothing.
I was neutrally charged going in. Yeah.
But this is the point I'll make now, is that I knew nothing of the Sparks Brothers going to this. I didn't even know what I knew. Like, I didn't even know that I knew those 3 songs by them.
Yeah.
And this did a really good job of explaining to me what the big deal is.
Yes, I think that's where a lot of documentaries and biopics fail.
Yeah.
I remember, to bring up Kermode again, his review of, I think it was Notorious, the film about Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah.
And he said, the film didn't let me know what was so important about him. And I think Simon Mayo says, like, didn't he invent the stereotype of the gangster rapper? And Kermode said, if he did do that, the film did not tell me that.
Yeah.
So I think that's often a failure of films like this. But no, you get it completely.
Yeah, when they're saying... Because it's not just a case of like, oh yeah, their music was really good, it really resonated with me. Like, no music sounded like that at the time. It's like, okay, yeah, like if it hits you, it hits you, but that doesn't...
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily elevate them above everyone else. But then when they start talking about like the stories that those songs tell and like the attitude with which they're written, this kind of like it's a very weird tone. I don't know how to describe. Like, it's playful but kind of somber.
Well, okay, so
I think that's how it's presented.
It might get a bit
right?
esoteric here.
Yeah,
but
and this is better explained in the documentary.
Oh yeah, of course. I love the stories of their songs. Yeah, most songs are about heartbreak, death,
which I think one of the celebrity fans in the documentary says, isn't it?
Right.
It's like every song is either "Will you fuck me" or "I'm so alone."
Right, basically.
Yeah. Whereas like there's a Sparks Brothers song, "Tits," is it?
Yeah.
Tits.
Tits. Yeah.
Where like it's about a guy whose wife is cheating on him.
I think it's that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's in a bar bemoaning the fact that she's cheating on him, but you find out through the song that he's bemoaning it to the guy she's having the affair with.
Yes, like these incredibly idiosyncratic, unique stories.
Yeah.
I thought, oh yeah, like, why don't I write songs like that? You know, cause you try and be as, not vague, but broad in a sense, like you want it to relate to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
It's like, no, why not? Like, tell little weird stories in your songs.
Especially if those stories... Not just that they're relatable, but that they say something that like you can take away from that.
I love music being like having those like little internal narratives. Like obviously musically, it tends to like chords get resolved or whatever. But like in Karma Police, the Radiohead song, is all these verses about like Karma Police arrest this girl, her hairdo is winding me up, like that sort of thing. And then at the end, after like the massive bridge, he just starts singing, for a minute there I lost myself. So like the whole song was him like, oh, I do apologise for everything I said.
Yeah, it was like this
I was venting.
This angry rant.
Yeah,
like,
I lost myself for a second.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
It paints the song in a whole different context.
Yeah.
And they've got the ironic, funny, inscrutable thing down. That like, how serious are they being? Yeah. And I love it when musicians do that. Morrissey, obviously, the bravado of the Gallagher brothers, like, how earnest is it? And I love that about music. I think musicians can do that in a way that no other medium allows.
No.
So yeah, they've got that down. You never know where they're coming from, really.
Which I suppose was kind of the danger with doing a Sparks Brothers documentary. A Male Brothers documentary. Is that you'll ruin that mystery.
Right.
Even if it's just seeing them being people. It's like they know, like whenever Ron is on stage and he's just completely like stoic. Yeah. Playing, like staring unblinkingly at the camera.
That's been the thing, hasn't it? Russell is like the quite good looking front man who parades about the stage and dances and sings in like falsettos and stuff. And then Ron is just completely stoic. Just stares at the camera with like evil eyes and a little Hitler mustache. Yeah. that kind of is quite Picasso-y now, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that his mustache evolved over time.
Yeah, but it has parameters. It never kind of leaves.
Yeah, he has limits, Sam.
No beard. Never a beard.
No.
So yeah, they've got their... shtick has like a judgment in it. I don't mean it in that way.
Well, a shtick seems gimmicky.
That's the thing.
And it's not...
It kind of is, but it doesn't feel like that. It's their presentation. It's the show they put on. It's their character, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's their character.
And like the risk is that when you see them out of character, it's sort of they lose something.
Yeah, and they don't. I don't think
they don't.
They really don't. Like there's that nice bit at the end of like, right, because we've risked destroying all of the enigma around us. We're just gonna like tell you a bunch of bullshit now.
Yeah.
But no, I think without that, they retain that.
Yeah. Because
it's not like you really know where it all comes from.
No, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like you never can really with an artist. You can't ever truly unpack. It's funny when films try. So like Tolkien, it was a biopic last year or the year before about J.R.R. Tolkien writing Lord of the Rings, and like they tried to relate everything about the series back to something in his life.
Oh, right.
So, you know, like, I feel like this isn't a literal example. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm between two places, almost like I'm in Middle Earth. Literally, it's that on that level.
Oh, look, two towers.
Genuinely, literally on that level.
Surely that ruins it.
Well, not only is it bullshit, is it bogus, it just completely undermines imagination.
But that's the thing. If it is genuine, you're claiming that it's genuine. If it is actually genuine, this guy wasn't that creative at all. He just kind of what did I see yesterday? Oh, I saw this like short fella.
Yeah,
I'll make him.
And obviously, like,
ride a dragon.
We all are all of our experiences and everything. Fine, that's all. It's all in the mix, but. It's that drive, isn't it, to try and make everything explicable. It's like when people watch animation, they must have been high. No, they're just inventive. Yeah. They're good animators and they're clever storytellers. And
I think they like... I think the most... I could be wrong, but like the most recent example where we've brought that up was the Midnight Gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's like, you know, exhibit A of like, they must have been high when they made that.
Yeah.
And I think the guy whose podcast is used as the audio was.
I think all of the dialogue, right, is recordings when they were smoking.
Yeah, that's the gimmick. Yeah, it's like all the dialogue is taken straight from his podcast. They just kind of animate an episode over the top of it. But he did an interview on his podcast with one of the animators, and the animator was like, "No, I'm like teetotal. I don't take drugs. None of us take drugs."
But as well,
and he talks is it Duncan Trussell?
Yeah.
He like says that like that was one of the most mind-blowing things about it for me was that you guys, like, all of this is coming from my like weed riddled brain. You guys are completely stone cold sober.
Yeah.
And the worlds and like the imagery that you're able to pull out of what I'm saying without the assistance of drugs is insane to me.
Well, yeah. And just the ignorance of like, do you know how long these things take?
Yeah.
It's not like, you smoke a blunt and then you do the animation. Yeah. It fucking takes weeks and months. And
like an acid trip lasts 12 hours.
Yeah, in which you couldn't do much, to be honest. You couldn't
do much. Yeah. You certainly couldn't make like a 30-minute animation.
The degree, the attention it would take to do that is just not possible when you're tripping. But yeah, they've got that song, haven't they? My Baby is Taking Me Home.
Yes.
I quite like that.
Sparks Brothers now.
Sparks Brothers, yeah. Back the Male Brothers.
The Male Brothers.
Fuck! Shit! It's got that Stuart Lee thing of like, if you just tell the same joke over and over again, it stops becoming funny, and then it stops being funny, and then will become funny again. I feel like that's what that song does. The more he just says, "My baby's taking me home," its meaning changes, and it has different resonance as it goes on.
It certainly does, and I think that's bolstered by the fact that the music builds, because like it starts off very minimal. I think it's just him and the synth, and then by the end it's sort of crescendoed into all of these like backing instruments, and it does take on this whole new energy.
Even though we were just bemoaning, it's like they're on drugs, it does have like the narrative of a trip. Like Fear and Loathing only makes sense to you. That is one of the rare examples. Like it's only going to be decent at all if you're tripping, because it has these self-contained little narratives playing out where nothing happens, but the tone and the energy of the scene it kind of has this internal logic to it.
Yeah.
Go, oh yeah, man, oh, it's getting intense. Oh, it's over now. Moved on to the next thing. And that song has that effect because the music is building. You're like, oh, I'm reaching nirvana. I'm reaching some sort of... it's ebbing, you know. The only song I didn't really like was Dick Around, which is the other song you knew, isn't
That's
it?
the other one I knew, yeah.
Yeah. It sounds too much like a novelty song.
Okay.
Like, I know it's hard to take seriously. I know they've got that, is it funny, isn't it, thing. But, yeah, they straddle humour and sincerity. But I think that song lends itself too easily to parody. It's almost like a Weird Al song or something.
Okay.
And I do not like Weird Al.
Not necessarily parody, but I think that is blatantly comedic, right?
Yeah.
Not just the lyrics, but the instrumentation. It's got that, like, almost Bohemian Rhapsody layered.
It's operatic, yeah. And he's just saying, he's like operatically singing, all I do now is dick around.
Yeah, and then it's like, like this like really intense orchestra. It's like, that's just a funny song.
And the music's like okay, but it's just, I don't like funny songs.
Okay.
Where it's like, my intent is to be funny, it's a humour song.
Okay.
They very rarely get me.
Off the top of my head, like Tenacious D, pretty much the only ones, right? Yeah. Even they don't, like, they're not constant wins.
No.
But there's like some solid, like what's it called? Tribute. I sincerely love Tribute. I think that's
really?
Yeah, I think that's a great song, regardless of the fact that it's supposed to be comedic.
I think it's hard to do both. I think it's hard to be a really good song and be really funny.
It absolutely is.
I can't think of one example. I can't think of one. Because there are loads of songs I find funny, but they're not funny songs.
Yeah.
Not, capital F.
Oh, yeah. What's the example you
Well,
bring
the
up?
Smiths I
the
usually
Smiths
bring up.
ones, yeah.
That's the kind of funny I like in
music.
And
if a double-decker bus kills the both of us?
It's just so over the top, like... It speaks of how you feel, that young love feeling. Yeah. Like, oh, I want to die because I fucking love you so much.
But, like, the specificity of...
The specificity of
double-decker bus.
Specificity is funny.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm the only humour song... Equality Street I love, but not musically.
Yeah, not musically.
It's nothing, is it? For the gag rate.
It's like slow reggae. It's like...
on Equality Street. And, like, the whole... I love that. And it's really funny, but not the song. Not
it's let in love, but don't let in hate.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Was it the thing about midgets? You can't just pick them up, they're not babies. I learned the hard way.
They got rights.
They got rights, yeah, exactly. And just like, that, the whole video is brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, just this montage of like, an Asian couple making out, two Asian men making out, and David Brent pointing at it like, look at that. That's all right. That's good, isn't it? But yeah, generally speaking, I think it's really hard to do both.
It is.
To get a laugh out of your listener.
Yeah.
And for them to really enjoy the music. Because, Weird Al sucks, doesn't he? he's in it, isn't he?
Yeah, he is in it, yeah. He does his little, like... Because every, like, celebrity cameo get, like, a little introductory screen.
Yeah.
Where they're cloaked in shadow and then the light comes up and they sort of do, like, a look to camera or they pose.
A tableau vivant.
Yeah, and they, like, smile. But Weird Al, this is, like, he looks to camera and, like, raises his eyebrow really, like, ooh, I'm doing a thing.
Yeah, Al, can't you just do it? Just do a thing? Like, can't you just be in a place and not have to do a thing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because that must be exhausting if you're that person. And it's exhausting to us. Robin Williams was clearly a kind of genius, but man, you can get exhausted watching him.
Oh, you can.
So just stop.
Yeah.
I want you to have a little break. Sit down, have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And just chill out.
Robin, I can't keep up with you.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Like Jim Carrey, that interview on the Jonathan Ross show, which is really funny, but it's like, mate, just relax for a second and answer a question.
Yeah. Because Weird Al, he's just a parodist.
Yeah, a parodist, yeah.
Yeah. Podiatrist?
Podiatrist, yeah.
He's just a podiatrist. Because he doesn't write the music, he just rewrites the lyrics.
Yeah.
So that's sort of cheating in a bit, isn't
Of course it's cheating. Yeah, it's easy. It's the easiest thing.
That's the balance, right, with like a comedy song, is the lyrics have to be funny, but also musically.
Well, if you want to be a good song.
If you want to be a good song as well, it has to be musically sound, which is one of the reasons I love Tribute. I think it's like,
okay.
If you look at the music of it, it's a very good song musically.
Yeah, I've got to re-listen to it.
Yeah.
Because, okay. But,
and I think there is a couple of other examples. None that I can think of at the top of my head, but... Yeah.
Well, I like Wonder Boy, but I don't know if I like it musically.
Okay.
Wonder Boy.
But yeah, like with Weird Al, like that's cheating because he's taking already like songs that are great musically and he's just kind of like writing parody.
But it's the kind of thing anyone could write. I'm not saying brilliantly, but like, okay, we're going to do Michael Jackson's Bad. What's it called? Fat. Right, I've written it already in my head. I know what that song is.
Yeah.
It's fat. It's just about jokes about being fat.
Yeah.
And the video's going to be him doing the Michael Jackson video, but he's fat. It's,
Yeah.
I saw someone saying, how have you managed to stay relevant for so long, Weird Al? He stayed really... Well, you just do contemporary songs. as a song parodist...
Yeah.
As long as you're covering, who's in at the moment, Kendrick and Taylor Swift songs... That's how you stay relevant.
Yeah.
But, I'm not a fan of Weird Al. But I am a fan of the documentary. Is there anything more you have to say?
Yes. We like the documentary. Yes. We like the Sparks Brothers.
Yes. The Mail
Brothers. We like the Mail Brothers.
Yeah. That kind of nicely...
to like Edgar Wright.
Yes, that kind of nicely adds into the thing as well. The Mail Brothers. Because it's like... It's almost M-A-L-E, like Mail Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
But it's slightly not.
Yeah.
It's M-A-E-L, isn't it? So it's this slightly twisting...
Yeah.
In summary,
that's the white men that have been writing all the music instead of all the women.
The Mail Brothers.
Yeah, the Mail Brothers. This is it. These two guys. These are the patriarchy.
These are the ones. Yeah, it's like the that character in what's that really shite David Mitchell film? Not our David Mitchell, the American David Mitchell.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, Under the Silver Lake. Oh,
right, yeah.
Remember, there's that guy that's written all pop culture, all pop music.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a good film.
It's a good film. We definitely recommend it.
Heartily recommend it.
Yes.
One of the best. My favourite directed film of the year so far.
So far. We'll see what the rest of the year brings. Yeah. But yeah, this is, certainly in the field of documentary, this is one to beat. It
better be up for an Oscar. Because I feel like it's not going to be. Because they tend to really only nominate really earnest documentaries.
Yeah.
That are about like important things. It deserves an Oscar nomination.
Oh, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. But, they did nominate Baby Driver for editing, right?
Yeah, that's different.
I know it's different, but it's like, well, if we'd have to contrive not nominating it. Then again, they didn't nominate the Lego Movie for Best Animated Feature.
That was a freak thing.
That was a freak thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, is that it then?
I think that's everything, yeah.
Bye then.
All right,
we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.